What is up, everybody? Furious Nation is fucking back. January 10th, 2026 is the date. Furious Nation is back for the first time since August. It's been over 4 long months. And Furious Nation finally back, starting off the new year right. January 10th, late August. It was August the 30th of 2025 was the very last time I was on here on YouTube Live with Furious Nation, and then took a hiatus, was going to return for the WrestlePalooza weekend last September, but then I was a bit burnt out, and then decided to go on hiatus for the rest of the year, not knowing what to do. But then the more I thought about it, and I'm just so passionate about wrestling and love doing this YouTube stuff, so, and a little bit of motivation and some not consenting to me, I have decided to officially return Furious Nation, get it out of retirement, have it officially back on a full-time basis here on YouTube with Furious Nation and the Forbidden Podcast every Saturday night, 8:30 p.m. here on YouTube, starting tonight. Now, usually it would be me and my very good buddy Adam Carl. He is unfortunately not here tonight because he's studying for an important exam tomorrow. So, riding solo tonight. We'll have fun, though. We got a lot to talk about. So, Forbidden Podcast. And also, before I get started on the details and before we get into the nice groove of things, talk about news and rumors. There's a lot to talk about and stuff. Before we get into the nitty gritty, I will say Forbidden Podcast was once a month, every Saturday, once a month, but now it's every Saturday night, 8:30. Here will be me and Adam Carl giving our wrestling opinions talk. We'll talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Also going to include AEW as well for the first time on Forbidden Podcast. Include some AEW talk. TNA. Now you may ask, Nick Fiore, are you and Adam Carl going to talk about TNA? The answer is yes. Starting more so, we'll talk a little bit TNA, but more so of TNA next week, as TNA is off Access TV, is off Access TV as they move to AMC channel next week on Thursday, January 15th, which I will be watching, by the way, and AJ Styles will be there. We'll talk about that. He's apparently announced for the TNA AMC premiere, which is very nice because he's Mr. TNA, so I think that's an awesome move. We'll talk about that. But yeah, we'll talk about news and rumors every Saturday night. What happened on WWE, AEW, TNA. We'll include AEW talk. What happened on Dynamite, what happened on TNA, and also SmackDown as well. No, we're not going to put AEW Collision on here because that's a waste of a time show. Now, sometimes WWE PLEs are on a Saturday night. Sometimes, like for example, like the Royal Rumble, the end of this month, January 31st, is going to be in Saudi Arabia. As far as Forbidden Podcast episode that day is concerned, Adam Carl and I will talk about that. The Rumble that early is going to be early that day, so we may just that episode either talk about the Rumble, give our thoughts, or just take that week off, resume the week after the Rumble. But Adam Carl and I will discuss more of that when we get closer to that date. Saturday night's main event the week before, January 24th in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We'll figure that out as well. Adam Carl and I will talk about that. We'll discuss what we want to do. We'll discuss that after tonight's show. Talk about it before next Saturday, and we'll see. We'll talk about what we want to do, and we'll go from there. That's in 2 weeks from now. We'll play that by ear. But speaking of Adam Carl, like I said, he's unfortunately not here tonight. He was going to be on here, but unfortunately, because of exam circumstances, he has an important exam to take tomorrow that he's studying for tonight. He can't make tonight, but he will be back on here next week. So tonight, you just got me. Next week, you'll get full-on Nick Fiore and Adam Carl. But yeah, we'll talk about every Saturday night, most part, news and rumors, reports, what's going to be on WrestleMania, etc., etc. So it'll be a lot of fun. So went for a nice, fun, wild ride, and we're going to start off 2026 off right. We did have the start of, we had January 1st Thursday last week, and then January 3rd Now the reason I decided to start FioriousNation again January 10th tonight, and I didn't do it last week, January 3rd, was because I was at a indie wrestling event in Poughkeepsie, New York, which I'm from, called ACW, Awesome Championship Wrestling. They're a year-old indie company. A lot of great talent, and the guy who owns the company, because that created the company, is a wrestler there, and is also one half of the ACW World Tag Team Champions. I know the guy personally very well for years. Great dude. Name is Hale Collins. Shout out to Hale Collins and ACW, by the way. It's a great dude. He was there at ACW Poughkeepsie Rumble #2 last Saturday night. Good show in the Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, New York. So hence the reason why to start FioriousNation again here January 10th. So hope you guys understand that. But we're going to have some fun here. We got a lot to talk about. We've got Oba Femi eminently being called up to the main roster, which brand he's going to be on. We're going to talk about potential call-ups from NXT as well. Also happened on Raw in Brooklyn this past Monday night, which I was there live, by the way, at the Barclays Center. Not good of a show outside the beginning and then the main event. The Braun Punk, and then Io Sky and Rhea Ripley versus Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team titles. Other than that, it wasn't that good of a show, in my honest opinion. And I was there live, and Brooklyn was mostly a snooze fest during the show. We had NXT as well. I watched Oba Femi apparently vacated the NXT title, and it's being reported he's being called up very, very soon to the main roster. Will he be on Raw or SmackDown? We'll talk about that. Andrade's back in AEW and so much more. Matt Cardona back in the WWE as well. He's on SmackDown. A lot of Chris Jericho talk. Is he coming back to WWE? Is he going to be at the Royal Rumble, since we didn't see him this past Monday on Raw in Brooklyn, which some people thought he would be, and cost CM Punk the world title against Braun Breaker, and that never happened. So is Jericho going to be in Saudi at the Royal Rumble for his WWE return instead? We'll talk about that. Also, Drew McIntyre. I watched SmackDown last night in Berlin, Germany. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, 3 stages to hell for the WWE Championship. Jacob Fatu's back, and Jacob Fatu is back in the fold. And Drew McIntyre is your brand new WWE champion. They actually did it. Triple H last night did not play it safe. 2025 was Triple H's worst creative year, and he played it safe throughout all of 2025. Last night was not safe and took a risk and actually pulled the trigger and put the WWE Championship on Drew McIntyre. Even if it's a transitional reign, he's the champion, which is a very good thing, and it creates unpredictability now with him as champion and intrigue. And Cody Rhodes may very well be in the Royal Rumble match, which now makes the Rumble unpredictable, and I think it's exciting. But we're going to talk about that all here for episode 7 of the Forbidden Podcast and the FioriousNation Forbidden Podcast return here on YouTube. First things first, before we talk about the news and the rumor stuff throughout the week, first off, hit the like on the video, especially if you're new watching this, especially if you're new watching FioriousNation. It'd be greatly appreciated. It would help in the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you subscribe to FioriousNation as well. And when you subscribe to FioriousNation, turn on that bell for all notifications whenever you are notified when FioriousNation goes live here on YouTube every Saturday night with the Forbidden Podcast. So that out of the way. And as far as social media is concerned, follow me on X or Twitter at FioryNick579. Go follow me on Twitter, Facebook at Nicholas_Fiore_31. You can add me as a friend on Facebook if you like. And then Instagram at NicholasFiore2014. And TikTok. I don't use TikTok much, but I do have a TikTok. Follow me on TikTok at FioriousNation. So let's start off 2026 off right, and Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully you had a safe new year, and hopefully 2026 this year is much better than last year, because last year, 2025, was not kind to wrestling at all to WWE and AEW. Hopefully this year's better, and hopefully overall this year is better than last year. But only time will tell. But we're going to start off 2026 off the right way, and we are going to start with the Monday Night Raw talk. Now, Raw this past Monday was at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, the Stranger Things Raw. Stranger Things, more like awful things. With that being said, and when I say that, I was at Raw this past Monday live in Brooklyn. Live atmosphere nice, but the show this past Monday was not good. It was not good at all. The women's tag team title match between the Kabuki Warriors versus Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, that opened the show. That was good. We got new women's tag team champions in Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Happy for them, and I guess that's to start off the new year right with new tag team champions. I know the women's tag team titles don't really mean anything, but lately WWE showcased them for whatever reason, maybe because the AEW has the women's tag team titles and maybe WWE is petty. It would not shock me because, I mean, let's be real. Both companies are petty. AEW's petty and WWE's petty. Let's be real. So I think that's a big reason why WWE has showcased the women's tag team titles now all of a sudden, whereas before then, the women's tag team titles didn't mean jack shit because WWE didn't care about them, and those women's tag titles in WWE are useless anyway. Now they're just showcasing them more. But Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, they're the women's tag team champions now. Happy for them. They were very bold. Io and Rhea were both very over, and I was there live in Brooklyn for Raw this past Monday in Barclays. Io Sky got a nice pop. So did Rhea Ripley. Io and Rhea won the titles. I do have to ask, what does Stephanie Vaquer now do for WrestleMania? Because I was originally thinking Stephanie Vaquer versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania for the women's world title. That may not happen now, or maybe it could. Maybe Rhea and Io dropped the titles before WrestleMania. Who knows? But I was hoping Rhea and Stephanie, but now I don't know at this point. Maybe Liv Morgan wins the Rumble. We get Liv Morgan and Stephanie Vaquer at WrestleMania for the women's world title, but is that really a WrestleMania match? Also, Liv Morgan's been having a story lately on Raw with the dissension with the Judgment Day with Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez, who's been feuding with Stephanie Vaquer as of late, and then including Nikki Bella. And now Nikki Bella seems to be no more. She was on the last Raw of 2025 in a triple threat. It was Orlando, I think. That last Raw of 2025 was a triple threat. One of the matches, a triple threat. The women's world title, Stephanie Vaquer, Raquel Rodriguez, and Nikki Bella, whereas Stephanie retained by pinning Nikki Bella. And Nikki Bella hasn't been seen since. It looks like Nikki Bella's no more, which is a very good thing. Thank God, and good riddance. Nobody wants to see Nikki Bella on TV in 2025, 2026. So if she's off my TV, I say no complaints for this guy. Good fucking riddance, Nikki Bella. We don't need Nikki Bella anymore. That's just me. But Raquel's still feuding with Stephanie. Don't know what they're doing with that. Does Stephanie Vaquer even go into WrestleMania this year as the women's world champion? I don't know. For all we know, it could maybe be Roxanne or Liv. Maybe Liv Morgan wins the Rumble, and maybe Roxanne wins the title, and we get Liv and Roxanne for the title. I don't fucking know. Maybe a Fatal 4-Way, Raquel, Liv, Roxanne, and Stephanie, and a Fatal 4-Way for the women's world title at WrestleMania. But then if you do that, it's trying to get everyone on the card, but you don't want to leave Stephanie Vaquer off the card. And Liv, Raquel, and Roxanne have this story going on with this dissension and the Judgment Day with those three. So you're not going to leave them off WrestleMania either. I don't know where the hell they go, or if they even still do Rhea and Stephanie for the women's world title at WrestleMania. I don't fucking know. And then Io Sky, you're not going to leave her off the card. What does she do? You know? Kabuki Warriors, do we got Asuka versus Kairi versus Io in a triple threat at WrestleMania, the story? Or Asuka versus Io at WrestleMania one-on-one? I don't know where WWE goes with this, but I just hope they know what they're doing, because right now it looks very slim pickings for Stephanie Vaquer. Not much for her to work with outside of just Raquel Rodriguez. So I'm hoping Triple H knows what he's doing, and things hopefully play out, and hopefully they play their cards right going into the Royal Rumble and into WrestleMania season. Which, by the way, I hope WrestleMania season this year is better than last year's, because last year's was not good whatsoever. Even when they turned John Cena heel, it was a great moment. But looking back on it now, with the work and The Rock never showing up, and instead we got fucking Travis Scott at WrestleMania 41 Night 2 in Las Vegas, the whole John Cena heel run was a flop. And I don't think he ever should have turned heel. If Cena wanted to turn heel, it should have been in 2012, not in 2025, but Cena's last year. Just my take. But I just hope Triple H knows what he's doing, as far as the women's world title picture is concerned for WrestleMania, because right now there's a lot more questions than answers as far as I'm concerned. But speaking of Stephanie, we did get Stephanie and Raquel in a segment where Stephanie Vetcare was wearing a boot on her left foot, and then Raquel Rodriguez attacked it. And it is said that Stephanie Vetcare is not supposed to miss much time, which is good. We don't need another major injury in the company, especially with a lot of the shoulder injuries lately in WWE, like Sheamus, JD McDonough, Dominic Mysterio out for a while. So, like I said, hopefully they know what they're doing with Stephanie Vetcare and the women's world title overall at WrestleMania this year. But time will tell what they want to do and what they do. So, Stephanie Vetcare is not supposed to miss much time. That's one of the rumors as well. She's not supposed to miss much time. It's like a minor injury, so that's good. And she shouldn't miss WrestleMania, which is a very good sign as well. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley, new women's tag team champions, like I said. We also had on the show Gunther and AJ Styles. Gunther was booed out of the building in Brooklyn, saying still the same promo. I made John Cena tap out like a bitch at Saturday night's main event, December 13th of 2025. AJ Styles then comes out, interrupts Gunther, slaps him right in the jaw, and they get in a big face-to-face confrontation. And then it led to Adam Pearce booking AJ Styles versus Gunther on Raw in Dusseldorf, Germany this Monday night, which I'll be watching. And Raw this Monday night, or this Monday afternoon, live 2 p.m. This Monday afternoon. They'll be live on Netflix 2 p.m. this afternoon because they'll be in Dusseldorf overseas. They're on this UK tour now before they go into Montreal, before they go into Saudi for the Royal Rumble weekend. So they won't be in the United States for a show again until the beginning of February, which I think, if I look at the WWE event schedule, I think February 2nd edition of Raw this year, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that Raw's in Philadelphia at the former Wells Fargo Center. So correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's that. But yeah, Gunther and AJ Styles, Gunther versus AJ Styles one-on-one is booked for Raw this Monday in Dusseldorf. Adam Pearce booked. That should be a banger next Monday. I'm looking forward to that match this Monday on Raw. I would say Gunther wins that. If I'm booking this, I'm having Gunther just destroy AJ, and then AJ Styles doubts himself. And then we get Gunther and AJ Styles going into WrestleMania, where AJ Styles puts his career on the line, and that's how Gunther retires AJ Styles. I don't know how you think, but that's how I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know. Leave it in the comment section how you would book Gunther versus AJ Styles if that's the plan going into WrestleMania. So let me know what you guys think on that. We did also get Becky Lynch and Maxine Dupree for the Women's Intercontinental title. This wasn't that good, and Becky Lynch won by using a rope, by putting her arm on the bottom rope or something like that. The match could have went on a little bit longer, but this match really wasn't that good. It was their worst out of their all matches, and Maxine Dupree has been getting better, but this match was not good. This match wasn't good at all, and I'm liking the heel work Becky Lynch is doing, though, regardless, despite of that. And Becky Lynch is the Women's Intercontinental Champion again, two-time Intercontinental Champion now for the Women's Division on Monday Night Raw. Am I okay with this move? Yes. This is the right move. Yes, it is. This 100% the right move, no questions asked. It was nice to have Maxine Dupree as Women's Intercontinental Champion for a while, but at some point, it was going to go to Becky. It was going to go back to Becky Lynch anyway. And Maxine Dupree won it in Madison Square Garden on Raw November 17th of 2025. That was John Cena's last MSG appearance on that Raw, where Maxine won the title because of AJ Lee. And Maxine Dupree held it for like 2 months, a decent title reign. Nothing that much bad at all, but I mean, it was going to go to Becky Lynch anyway, so I'm not mad at it all. And I think we get Becky Lynch and AJ Lee for the Women's IC title at WrestleMania 42 on one of the nights, and Becky goes over. I don't think AJ Lee is back in the WWE company to win any titles or anything. I think she puts Becky Lynch over at WrestleMania. That's just my honest opinion. I think that's the direction they go with Becky Lynch going into WrestleMania this April in Las Vegas. Just my take. We did also get Lyra Valkyria and Liv Morgan one-on-one. It was all right. And Liv Morgan won with the Oblivion. Nothing really special. It was all right, but Liv Morgan picks up the win. Not much to talk about there. And then we get the main event of Raw this past Monday night. Braun Breaker, CM Punk, World Heavyweight title. As I take a sip of my drink, catch my breath, talk about the main event of Raw Monday night. Nice. Got a drinking of water, but tonight, by the way, trying to be good, especially going in a new year. Lost some weight, 242 pounds from a few weeks ago, 256 pounds. So lost some weight lately and was sick for the past couple weeks, but maybe it was like a stomach bug, but lately eating less and dropping weight. So that's a nice thing. Trying to drink just water, trying to be healthy, not drink all the sugary drinks like the fruit punch, the iced tea, trying to be good. So drinking water, by the way. Nice cold, by the way. And before we talk about the main event of Raw, we got Wesley Stover 1993 in the chat. Hi, Nick. It's nice to see you again. It's been a while. Absolutely. And it's great to be back with FioriousNation Forbidden Podcast back here on YouTube. And I missed it, honestly, here, man. Being all away from this for 4 or 5 months, man, and I genuinely missed it. And I wanted to, was thinking about it for a while of coming back. And because I love the podcast so much, love talking about wrestling so much. And eventually got to me that I just have to go back to it. And best decision I ever made. And glad to be back and glad you're here. Very much appreciate you and every single one of you watching this, by the way. So then we got Wesley Stover also in the chat saying the following week Raw will be on at 3 p.m. Thought Netflix said at 2 p.m. I could be wrong, like 2 or 3. Either way, it'll be in the early afternoon for Raw this Monday night, which I don't mind. You watch Raw early and you can watch at your own time. Hey, you get no complaints from me. So, but SmackDown though on Netflix internationally, not in the U.S. because in the U.S. they're on USA Network, so they're taped like SmackDown last night. So, anyways. Damn, that's nice cold water. But, so the main event of Monday Night Raw, this past Monday night at Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York, World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk defends the World Heavyweight Championship against the Vision's Braun Breaker. Now, I said this past Monday on Raw, and I was there live, this past Monday night on Raw was not a good show. It wasn't a good show at all. Outside of the opening match for the women's tag team titles between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley versus Kabuki Warriors, and then the main event here for the world title with CM Punk, Braun Breaker. Those are the only 2 good things of the show. The rest was not good at all. Just very, very bad Monday Night Raw. Just boring. Just very boring. And I felt like they copied the same formula with the first ever Raw on Netflix last year, where the first ever Raw on Netflix, when they were in Los Angeles, I believe, in the Intuit Dome last early January of 2025. That show wasn't that good. They had all the big names like Hulk Hogan and Undertaker, and then you had CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in the main event. You had Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa for the Ula Fala, etc., etc. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan for the women's world title. That show last year wasn't that good. Then the weeks following that were much better going into the Rumble. Maybe that's what they're doing with starting Raw next week. So hopefully Raw this Monday is better. They'll be in Dusseldorf, Germany this Monday on Raw. They won't even be in the United States. And Raw had to cater to the Stranger Things thing with Netflix with this past Monday on Raw on Netflix. And it was a Stranger Things themed Raw this past Monday. To me, it kind of threw me off. I'm not a big Stranger Things kind of a guy. I don't watch Stranger Things. I don't know if you guys do. I don't. But it just didn't sit well with me with the presentation of Raw this past Monday. It just didn't fit in my opinion. So hopefully next week's Raw is better than this past Monday night's Raw, because this past Monday night's Raw was god awful. It was not a good show at all. And the main event, the main event of Raw Monday night with Breaker and Punk for the world title, outside the women's tag title match, that was the only thing that felt Raw. That was like the felt Raw of old. And Punk and Breaker for the world title, very, very good stuff. And I was going Braun Breaker to win. but CM Punk ended up retaining. He had the Vision interfering during the match. You had Rey Mysterio, Penta, and Dragon Lee interfere, fight it out with the Vision. You had Paul Heyman trying to interfere. He got knocked down. Braun Breaker put CM Punk through the announce table with that leaping clothesline from the apron to over the announce table, and he put CM Punk through the table with that move. Throws CM Punk back in the ring, takes the straps down. Then he goes run back and forth the ropes for a spear. Punk catches him with a knee, hits a GTS for a second time in the match, and that was enough for CM Punk to retain. And we didn't even get Chris Jericho back afterwards, this past Monday on Raw. And they just went and credits, get home safe, everybody, and that's it. We didn't even get Chris Jericho. I was there live at Raw this past Monday in Brooklyn. I have to be honest, and coming from a big wrestling fan and WWE fan, this past Monday on Raw, it was a letdown. It was honestly a letdown, and I was very disappointed. I was expecting a lot more, and they really hyped the show up big this past Monday. But it's like when you hype up something big, you got to deliver, and they really under-delivered. And I was disappointed. Let's put it that way. I was very disappointed from Raw this past Monday night. We didn't even get Chris Jericho return, which I thought he would, because he's no longer in AEW as his AEW contract expired. He's still on the AEW roster page, but he's no longer with AEW. So we got no Jericho this past Monday night. No Y2J return, which I was hoping and everyone was a lot of people were anticipating. No new world champion either, and I thought Breaker would win. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Maybe Braun Breaker wins the Rumble now to get Punk for the world title at WrestleMania. Maybe Seth Rollins gets involved, makes it a triple threat. If Seth is back in time for Mania, I know he's pushing for a February return before Mania, but I don't know if that's going to happen. If he is back before Mania, it would make things a lot better, and Breaker could beat Seth and Punk in a triple threat. The world title at WrestleMania, maybe that's why Braun Breaker wins the title. Maybe they do that. Maybe they have Roman Reigns in the mix because Seth and Breaker have history with Punk and Roman coming out of the Raw after Mania last year. Maybe you do that. I don't know. But CM Punk's still the world champion for now. I don't know if we do this match again, Punk and Breaker for the world title Saturday night's main event in Montreal. I don't think we need to. I would say maybe Braun Breaker wins the Royal Rumble now. He's probably a favorite to win the Rumble now at this point after losing to Punk on Monday. And no, like I said, no Chris Jericho either. Jericho, now, I want to talk about the Chris Jericho rumors linked with this, which leads to Chris Jericho. He's no longer in AEW. Chris Jericho is DONE done. With AEW, he's a free agent. He's no longer tied with AEW and Tony Khan. Now, despite the fact Jericho didn't return Monday night on Raw, do I think Jericho still returns to WWE? If you want to get my honest opinion, yes, I do think Chris Jericho still returns to WWE, but I think it's going to be in Saudi Arabia with him as a surprise entrant at the Royal Rumble. I think that's when we get Chris Jericho back in the WWE fold. And I do expect Chris Jericho versus LA Knight as one of the matches for WrestleMania, in my opinion. So I think we still get Jericho back, but we'll just have to wait till the Royal Rumble for that to actually happen. And it'll be interesting how they keep that a surprise, because with Saudi, it's hard to keep everything a surprise and keep everything silent. So people may know already in advance that Jericho's going to be back at the Rumble in Saudi. So who knows? But regardless, I think Jericho's back in the WWE come the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. I think he is in the Men's Rumble in that match. And I think it sets up Jericho and LA Knight at WrestleMania in Las Vegas. So I think that's what they're doing since we didn't get Jericho this past Monday. So that's my theory on that. Let me know what you guys think on that. And Breaker losing to Punk Monday. Breaker looked very good, and the match was very, very good. I don't think Braun Breaker's buried at all, and he's not buried. He looked very, very good in the match with Punk, and he can hang with Punk. It'll be Braun Breaker's time. He's a future piece of the company. He's a future top guy in the company. He's going to be the world champion, and this year's going to be his year. The guy is going to be more than just fine. But probably now is not his time. It'll be Braun Breaker's time, but it's going to be WrestleMania where they're going to crown him. So that's that. So I'm not worried about Braun Breaker. He's not buried. He's going to be fine. He's going to be the world champ, but just not now. He'll be soon come WrestleMania. And I can picture Braun Breaker as a possible winner of the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber to get to the world title at WrestleMania against CM Punk. And maybe we get Seth Rollins involved. Maybe he's back in time by Mania, which I would hope to make Breaker and Punk that much better, since Seth Rollins was kicked out of his own group division. And Breaker and Punk have been feuding lately, and then Seth and Punk have that history as well. And maybe add Roman Reigns making a fatal four-way since Roman's been battling division for months and has history with Seth and CM Punk. So we'll see what happens. I know there's rumors of Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I don't care for that. For a third time with Cody Roman at Mania. Their ending at Mania 40 was perfect. I would not try and mess with that unless you have Cody Rhodes go heel. And I don't think that even needs to be, and that does not need the title at all. And I don't think I would do them, and I would not do the match at all for Mania. I know some dirt sheets are saying it's gonna be Roman and Cody at Mania. I don't really believe much of the dirt sheets. We'll just see what happens. But if I'm booking this, if you're gonna have Roman on the Mania card, we'll even be at the Rumble. We don't even know at this point. We hasn't been seen since Survivor Series War Games, so I gotta ask, do we really need Roman right now? I don't know. Maybe not, since he hasn't been seen since War Games. So we'll see. We'll see whether it's whether Roman, Seth, Punk, Breaker, or Seth, Breaker, Punk, something like that regarding the world title match at WrestleMania. I like either of those scenarios. Let me know what you guys think on that. Breaker lost to Punk Monday. Breaker is not buried. He's fine. He loses nothing. No damage done to Breaker at all. So I'm not mad that Punk won, and the match was very good. I was hoping for Braun Breaker. I wish Breaker would have won, but I'm not that mad where I'm going to lose sleep over it. And Breaker loses nothing whatsoever. So Braun Breaker will be fine. Those saying, oh, Braun Breaker's buried. He's not. Don't worry. He will be just fine. Braun Breaker will be just fine. So he'll be the world champ by WrestleMania, I'm very sure. So not to worry at all. And then that's that for the Raw talk. We're going to go into the NXT talk as well. NXT had New Year's Evil this past Tuesday night on the CW at the Performance Center, Orlando, Florida. I did watch that as well. Some news coming out of that. We got Blake Monroe, Thea Hale, which was going to be for the Women's North American title, but that never happened as Blake Monroe was injuring Thea Hale. And Ava said to Blake Monroe, you're not getting your North American Women's title match, and banned from that. There were rumors of Blake Monroe being called up to the main roster potentially soon, but now I'm hearing that's debunked. I'm hearing rumors of Jacy Jayne maybe being called up. I could see Jacy Jayne called up to SmackDown after WrestleMania weekend. And speaking of Jacy Jayne, she retained the NXT Women's title against the Evolve Women's Champion Kendall Gray, who I think is very good. She is awesome. I watched her live at NXT Gold Rush this past November at the theater in Madison Square Garden, where they had the NXT Gold Rush NXT this past November, the theater in MSG, where Kendall Gray fought Lainey Reed for the Evolve Women's title, where Kendall Gray won. Sorry, run. I don't know why I said that, but Kendall Gray won and retained. Very good stuff. And Kendall Gray is so fucking good. And I watched her stuff on Evolve throughout last year. The woman is very good. She's a very good wrestler. She hasn't been wrestling that long, I don't think, and she's this good. And I heard she has like this pro wrestling background. She knows Julius Creed very well. Fun little story. Julius Creed was the one that got her signed to WWE a couple years ago. And Kendall Gray hasn't been in WWE that long, and she's this fucking good, and she's young and that fucking good now. And I'm very high on Kendall Gray. She's one of my favorites right now, and she's that fucking good. And her with this pairing with Ren Sinclair with the Ren QCC and the Happy Wednesday lately, you know what? I'll be honest, it's been growing on me. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't high on Ren Sinclair like for months going into 2025, but recently with the pairing with Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair, Ren QCC, I'm not going to lie, folks. Lately, they've been kind of growing on me. So I think they have nice chemistry together. But Kendall Gray is on the rise. She's doing really well. I see her as women's champion for NXT around Stand and Deliver WrestleMania 42 weekend in Las Vegas, which, by the way, Kendall Gray is from, I believe. I see Kendall Gray beating Jacy Jayne. Now, Jacy retained against Kendall Gray this past Tuesday at New Year's Eve NXT, but I don't think it's a one-and-done with Kendall and Jacy. And I think Kendall Gray chases and eventually beats Jacy Jayne for the title WrestleMania weekend at Stand and Deliver. Then after Mania this past April, then Jacy Jayne gets called up, I think, to SmackDown after WrestleMania this year. That's what I think. I know Jacy Jayne, and they tease Jacy Jayne Sol Ruca next for the NXT Women's title soon, but I don't think Sol Ruca's beating Jacy Jayne. I don't see it. Sol Ruca's another one I think gets called up soon to the main roster, and I'd put Sol Ruca on SmackDown as well, since SmackDown Women's Division needs all the help they can get. They just got Jordynne Grace signed to SmackDown, which is nice, but they need a lot more than just Jordynne Grace. They need women on SmackDown like Sol Ruca, Jacy Jayne, Lola Vice is another one. Jada Parker's another one I put on SmackDown as well. I think she'd kill it on SmackDown. Women like them. Blake Monroe could, but I don't know if you want to really gut the NXT Women's Division like that. Blake Monroe I could see by the end of 2026. I'm not sure about right now. And I'm hearing rumors Blake Monroe may stay in NXT for now. Maybe get the NXT Women's title at some point this year. And maybe at the end, by the end of 2026, you call Blake Monroe up to Raw or SmackDown. I'm not sure about right now, though. As reports were saying, and now it's debunked that it's not. It was talked about, but it's probably not going to happen. But just my takes on that. So Jacy Jayne, Kendall Gray, NXT Women's title, Jacy Jayne retained. I don't think it's over with those two at all, not by a long shot. We got Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame one-on-one. Tatum Paxley won. They've been feuding lately. Speaking of Izzy Dame, she did compete later on that same night and beat Thea Hale for the Women's North American Championship. So Izzy Dame is your brand new NXT Women's North American Champion. I'm not really that high on Izzy Dame, I'll be very honest. I think she's still got work to do. She's very green. I'm not high on her right now at all. Hopefully she proves me wrong coming out of this past Tuesday, but I don't see it. I could absolutely see Tatum and Izzy fight again, but this time for the Women's North American title. I think I could see Izzy Dame retain. Thea Hale may get a rematch, but I don't know if she wins it back. But this is what I'm thinking. If Izzy Dame, though I'm not high on her, if Izzy Dame goes into Stand and Deliver weekend as Women's North American Champion, this is what I may think. And this is one of the things I want to talk about. I want to get your thoughts on this. Apparently, Anna Jay from AEW, Anna Jay's current AEW contract expires this March in 2 months. And it's said that Anna Jay is exploring her options. We've not seen her on TV in a while, and she hasn't done much of anything. She was on TV, then she got taken off, and now she's in Guantanamo Bay not doing fuck all. And she's actually come a long way. She can wrestle and bump it. She's not scared to get her hands dirty. She's got the look. She's got potential. But apparently her AEW deal is up in March, and apparently Anna Jay's exploring her options. I see Anna Jay making the jump to WWE. I think she'd fit like a glove in NXT, especially with Sol Ruca, Lola Vice, Jordynne Grace, Jacy Jayne, with women like them being called up to the main roster in the very soon future. NXT's going to have to fill those gaps, one of them being Anna Jay. I could absolutely see Anna Jay make the jump to WWE, go to NXT, and maybe take the Women's North American title off of Izzy Dame around Stand and Deliver. And if Stand delivers in April, I could probably see that. And you give Anna Jay the Women's North American title and let her run with it. I think she'd do very well for herself in NXT. She's come a long way. She's not a bad wrestler at all. The promos and charisma, Anna Jay, I think, with the charisma and promos has a lot to be desired, but that's why they have the Performance Center to help the young boys and girls help with promos. So I think NXT would be perfect for Anna Jay. But overall, I think she makes the jump from AEW to WWE, and she won't be the last. I could see Anna Jay make the jump. Britt Baker, her AEW contract is up to September. Maybe she gets an early release like Ray Phoenix last year, hopefully, instead of Tony Khan having her in Guantanamo Bay wrongfully so and until her contract's up, you know. But Britt Baker, even if she's in NXT for a short while, then gets called up to the main roster soon after. Thunder Rosa's not doing anything in AEW. I'd say have her make the jump to WWE, have her in NXT. Women like them. But yeah, they're going to have to fill those spots for the women's division NXT with people like Soruka, Jacy Jayne, Jordan Grace, and Lola Vice. At least those women getting called up to the main roster. And I could see them on SmackDown, in my opinion. But yeah, Anna Jay, I mean, if you're looking for spots when that happens, when with people like Soruka and company being called up to the main roster and the NXT's got to fill those spots down there, Anna Jay, I think, will be a very nice spot to fill in NXT, and she'd do very well in that mid card, in my opinion, for that women's North American title. We may even get a Blake Monroe Anna Jay feud in NXT for the women's North American title. Who knows? But I do think Anna Jay makes a jump. I think it's the right move. She's been in AEW pretty much since the beginning when they started in 2019. A pretty much an AEW original, has been there since day one, has done pretty much everything, and there's really nothing for her right now in AEW. I don't see her as the TBS champion. Tony Khan's not going to know what to do with her as TBS champion. She's not fighting for the women's world title. Forget about that. Women's tag titles, but it's like, what else do you do with her? I think Anna Jay makes the jump, but I think that's the right move in my opinion. And we got Chris Galagos in the chat. What's up, Chris? Welcome to Furious Nation. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe to Furious Nation. Be greatly appreciated. It says AEW is garbage. I 100% agree. Especially with this past Dynamite. Was so bad. Wasn't as bad as Monday's Raw, but holy shit. So fucking bad and boring. And we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite this past Monday. Believe me. So stay tuned for that. With Andrade coming back and the Don Callis family. Jake Doyle now in the Don Callis family. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Believe me, we're going to talk about that. And then Chris says, I gave up watching AEW when CM Punk left. Yeah. Cody Rhodes leaving in 2022 was a nail in the coffin. And then CM Punk, no matter what you think of him, when he was in AEW, he made AEW that much better. And then the Bucks, and then the Colt Cabana thing, and then the Brawl Out, and Hangman Page going into business for himself, and then the Jack Perry incident with the Real Glass thing, and Tony Khan not handling it, and then Punk had to handle it, and then he shoved Jack Perry and put him in the headlock, and then CM Punk quit AEW, but Tony Khan fired him with cause, and then Tony Khan went on live national television after the incident in Chicago, of all places. Then Tony Khan said that he feared for his life, which then you had the Bucks doing victory laps the day CM Punk got fired from AEW, exposing the Bucks as nothing but petulant fucking kids. And then they aired the All In 2023 footage right after WrestleMania 40 in 2024 in April. And that all debacle and that all crap. And CM Punk leaving was the second nail in the coffin. And when it's been a shit show in AEW ever since Punk left. And after they aired the All In 2023 footage in April 2024, after WrestleMania 40 that year in 2024. And now Punk is back in WWE with no problems because there's real leadership in WWE, whereas now Triple H had his bad year creatively in 2025 last year. But if there's a big difference between Triple H and Tony Khan, is that Triple H is a leader, Tony Khan is not a leader. Tony Khan's nothing but a big fucking money mark who wants to be buddy-buddy with everybody, and he wants to be friends with everybody. He doesn't want anything to do with the drama, leaves in the hands of the disciplinary committee. He leaves in the hands of the disciplinary committee, a.k.a. the Young Bucks, who didn't want Punk there because they were jealous of him. And CM Punk was saying AEW is not a real business on Ariel Helwani's show 2 years ago. Then Tony and AEW got so fucking butthurt, and they had Edge go out there to a rah-rah speech, which was fucking pathetic, by the way. And that all crap. And now Chris Jericho's gone. That's 3 pillars gone from AEW. And it should tell you something that people are losing trust in Tony Khan. And if Jericho's leaving, what message does that send to AEW in that locker room? Like, Daniel Bryan's not going to be there forever. Big Show's not going to be there forever. Adam Cole and Samoa Joe, I don't think stay there forever. Same thing with Moxley. MJF, they're big AEW original. As soon as his AEW contract's up, guess where he's going? Right to WWE. Mark my words. And you don't think he'll make the jump? Oh, believe me, he will. He will. And when he does, he's going to be a much bigger and better start off for, especially when he main events WrestleMania with CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. Mark my fucking words. When that happens, remember this saying, you know where you heard it. Point blank. And then Chris Gallage says, NJ was being held back in AEW. For lately, I agree. Then he says, Tony Khan is not a good businessman. No, he's a fucking mark. He doesn't know a fucking thing what good business is in wrestling. He's a matchmaker. He's not a booker. Let's just put it at that. Tony Khan is a match simulator booker in like WWE 2K Universe mode. But as a booker, he's not a booker. He just does a fucking match with no story behind it whatsoever. You can have a good match, but if you have no story, how am I and the viewers supposed to care? You can't. Then he says Tony Khan is holding his wrestlers like hostage. Yeah. Well, I mean, he treats everyone like a shiny new fucking toy. Then he gets bored within 3 to 4 weeks. Then he puts them away in the used toy chest to collect dust for 12, 16 weeks. To then use them when he wants. And it's sad. And Chris Gallagher says TNA is even better than AEW. Yeah. I see no lies there at all, Chris. Tell Chris when he's telling lies. Then he says, I don't want AEW to succeed. It doesn't deserve it. Well, I mean, it's right that AEW's around because you don't want to monopolize the business, but AEW is honestly shooting themselves in the foot until they get their shit together, but I don't see it anytime soon. Honestly. I'd rather have TNA be number 2, not AEW. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, right now, WWE's 1, AEW's 2, TNA's 3. I mean, because AEW has more money, I don't know. AEW will get worse in 2026. Oh, believe me, it will. It will, and I don't see it changing at all. Tony Khan was afraid to get killed. Well, he said he feared for his life on AEW television. TNA will get better in 2026. Tony Khan will fail. Young Bucks suck like shit. Oh man. Man, Chris Galagos, man. In the chat, man. I hope AEW gets eliminated, or gets terminated, rather, and censored and terminated off TV. AEW originals suck. AEW is a joke. He then says, I hate Tony Khan guts. AEW is crappy wrestling. I hope Tony Khan loses his business. AEW is not helping New Japan Pro Wrestling and not giving anything back to them. I mean, they purged all their talent like Will Ospreay, Okada, people like them. It says the partnership with AEW New Japan hasn't been presented too well at all. I agree. He says I'd rather have watched Scooby-Doo cartoons than AEW Dynamite or Collision. Yeah, I don't see any lies there either, there, Chris. I honestly. And Collision, by the way, I will not be talking about here. That's a waste of a fucking time show. Just letting you guys know. I apologize for the coughing, by the way. So, catch my breath. So, anyways, as I was saying about NXT, NJ I see making the jump when her AEW deals up in March. I think that's the right career move. And I think she'd do well for herself in WWE and in NXT. We got Izzy Dame, new women's North American champion. Jacy Jayne retained the NXT women's title. Tatum Pax would be Izzy Dame before Izzy Dame won the North American title as well. We also got Oba Femi and Leon Slater, the TNA X Division champion for the NXT title. Oba Femi retained. And after he retained, it cut to backstage with Ava and the NXT roster saying that 2026 is going to be something for NXT and new people stepping up. Robert Stone stormed to Ava's office, said, Ava, did you, I just saw what Oba Femi did. And he left and laid the NXT title in the middle of the ring, vacated the NXT title. So Oba Femi retained against Leon Slater, but Oba Femi is vacated the NXT title as he's now officially called up to the main roster. We got to talk about Oba Femi in a little bit regarding his main roster call-up and where he's going to be and potential WrestleMania 42 plans for Oba Femi. So let's take another sip of my water before we discuss Oba Femi. I apologize, man. Just lots to talk about, but we're going to pull through. So, Oba Femi is apparently rumored to be called up imminently soon to the main roster. And apparently, according to reports, Oba Femi is going to be on the Raw brand. Which, by the way, speaking of the Raw brand, forgot to mention this earlier, Javon Evans is also now on the main roster. He's now on the Raw brand. He's going to do well there, being a young prospect. He's going to do well. Oba Femi especially, I think, will do well. Now, I was hoping Oba Femi would go to SmackDown, but it looks like he's going to Raw. He could do either show, but whatever brand he ends up on, either show's lucky to have him. And I'm excited for Oba Femi being called up to the main roster, man. The guy is ready, and he's been ready for months. The guy has been wrestling that long. He's that fucking good. He's over as hell. He's a big future piece of the company. And with Jacob Fatu back on SmackDown, maybe that's why Oba Femi is being called up to Raw, not SmackDown. Because maybe they're kind of similar, Oba and Fatu. But Oba Femi, man, I've watched his stuff on NXT. The guy is so fucking good. For a big man, he can wrestle. And very good promo, got the look, very good presence, charisma, over as fuck. With Oba Femi as the ruler, and fans, every time he talks, they go, woo, I am the ruler, woo, the destroyer, woo, the bringer of war, woo, and I am the mountain that you cannot climb and that you cannot conquer, woo. With Oba Femi having so much charisma and a very good presence, a good promo, and he's good in the ring too. The guy can wrestle. And he's been in NXT for like a couple years now, and the guy's ready. He's been ready. He should have been called up months ago. I don't know what the hell they were waiting for, but he's now eminently being called up, and it's expected for him to be on the Monday Night Raw brand. So, again, he could do either show. I don't mind him on SmackDown. I don't mind him on Raw. I would have loved for him to be on SmackDown, but he's going to Raw. Listen, I have no issue with it at all. And it injects some excitement with him being called up. And there's nothing left for Oba to do in NXT. He's done everything. He's fought everyone. There's nothing left for him down there at all. And it's time to call him up, honestly. And I know people were upset that Leon Slater didn't win. I'm actually not upset with it, because if you're calling Oba Femi up, why would you have him lose his last NXT match on the way out to get called up to the main roster? Because it's like, you want Oba Femi called up to look like a monster when he's getting called up. So you like, it's not really a good look to have him lose his last NXT match and get called up. It's not really a good look. Certain people it works with, but not with Oba Femi. And you want Oba Femi to look strong getting called up. And it's said that Oba Femi has possible big WrestleMania 42 plans, big ones at that as well. So if that is the case, and if he's being put on Raw, not on SmackDown, this is what I'm thinking. I want to get your guys' thoughts. This is my theory for WrestleMania. I think we get Gunther and AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Now, Oba Femi, I think he maybe gets Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. If we're talking, if the rumors are true, there's big WrestleMania 42 plans on the horizon for Oba Femi. a match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, it lives up to that, and you can't get bigger than an Oba and Brock match at WrestleMania. And how Brock Lesnar was in 02 the next big thing. He was young, coming out of college, and he was this young rookie guy, and he was on the rise, and they dubbed the next big thing. I see some of that in Oba Femi, honestly. And you could have Lesnar and Oba at WrestleMania, and Lesnar puts Oba over, and Oba Femi goes over big over Lesnar at Mania, in my opinion. And a loss to Oba Femi doesn't hurt Brock Lesnar at all. I don't think it hurts Brock Lesnar whatsoever. He won at WrestlePalooza. He won in the War Games this past November. Is a loss to Oba Femi at WrestleMania 42 going to harm Lesnar at all? I don't think so. And I know there's maybe Brock Lesnar and Gunther at WrestleMania. That's a WrestleMania-worthy match. But John Cena, I remember one of the WPLE post shows, well, a few of them, I think one or two of them, a few back. I heard John Cena say that the summer, this August, is going to be Lesnar's last hoorah. And this early August is SummerSlam, 2 nights in Minneapolis, and that's Brock Lesnar's hometown. Maybe we get Brock Lesnar. I think we maybe get Gunther, AJ Styles, WrestleMania, then also WrestleMania, Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar, and then we get Gunther and Brock at SummerSlam this August, one of the nights in Minneapolis, Brock's hometown, and that's Lesnar's last match, and Gunther can retire Lesnar. After Gunther retires AJ Styles, maybe at WrestleMania. That's what I'm thinking. So let me know what you guys think. I think maybe that's a direction they go. So I want to get your thoughts on that, because I think that's the direction they go. And listen, Oba Femi, big WrestleMania 42 plans. Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar, you can't get bigger than that. And I think Oba and Lesnar, that's a big money match right there. Sign me right up. You got no complaints from me. And Lesnar, I mean, how long the match would be, I'm not sure, because Lesnar maybe can't go for more than a few minutes, but Oba Femi can carry him. And I mean, just like the stare down would be nice. The promos, something like that. And Lesnar and Oba is a big time match. So I think that's what they do with Oba Femi at WrestleMania. Just my thought. Let me know what you guys think on that. I want to hear it down in the comments. But Oba Femi's getting called up. I'm excited. It's time to call him up. He vacated the NXT title. I wonder who's going to be the NXT champion now. The NXT men's division is very bleak. The only ones I have that are established are Ricky Saints, Ethan Page. But Ethan Page I could see called up soon to the main roster on SmackDown, paired with Chelsea Green. I think that would be nice instead of the Secret Service crap they got going on with Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. Maybe a Matt Cardona with Chelsea Green and Ethan Page maybe as well. Maybe format Ethan Page, Matt Cardona tag team on SmackDown. Who knows? But just my take on that. Ricky Saints I could see get called up to SmackDown by the end of the year as well, especially in the same show as Cody Rhodes as well. That NXT men's division is very bleak, so I don't know who they got as NXT champion after Oba Femi vacated the championship. I have no fucking clue. I just hope they know what they're doing as far as the NXT men's title is concerned down there, because the NXT men's division is very fucking lacking. They don't have much down there to like Nico Vance. Like, who cares? They got Sean Legacy, but he's from Evolve. Jackson Drake from Evolve. They really need help in that NXT men's department bad. And hopefully they do something to fix that. And I'm also hearing Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs from AEW. WWE is apparently interested in him. I'm hearing WWE is also interested in David Finlay, who is the son of Fit Finlay. David Finlay's from New Japan, and WWE apparently has interest in him, want to bring him in soon. And I think he has a contract coming up soon as well, and WWE wants to bring him on in. I think David Finlay would fit like a glove on NXT. I do. Powerhouse Hobbs, whenever his AEW deals up, maybe sometime this year, bring him on into NXT. That would help NXT a lot as well. So yeah, bring in guys like them, because NXT's men's division is severely lacking. Hopefully NXT knows what they're doing as far as the men's division down there is concerned, because right now needs all the help they can get. So hopefully they know what they're doing. as far as all that's concerned. But Oba Femi has vacated the NXT title, is being called to the main roster. I have no issue with it at all. It is time. It's been time for Oba Femi to get called up. I'm very excited to see what they do. And Oba Femi is going to do really well for himself on the main roster. He's going to be really good. He's going to make a major splash. He's going to be a big deal. And he's going to be a big deal piece of this company, a top guy in the company for years and years to come for sure. I could see him potentially main event of WrestleMania in the future one day. I do. Him, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. The sky's the limit for Oba Femi, and this guy's going to do very, very well for himself on the main roster. I really see that. He's going to do big things, and I'm excited for what Oba Femi does next in WWE as he gets called up very soon to the WWE main roster, and apparently he's going to Monday Night Raw. So I'm very excited for the Ruler getting promoted to the WWE main roster. So that was with NXT as well. That was NXT New Year's Evil. It was fine for a show. Definitely better than Raw this past Monday. But it was news. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it was definitely for sure newsworthy coming out of Tuesday, especially the Oba Femi stuff. Then Jacy Jayne, Kendall Gray, like I said, I think Kendall Gray chases against the title at Stand and Deliver weekend. That kind of stuff, like I said. Another little quick note about Raw I forgot to mention. Raw apparently returns to MSG this March 30th. The tickets go on sale for that show this January 12th this month. I'm not sure if I'm even going. Tickets may be pretty pricey. I don't know if I'm even going to go, honestly, but we'll see. We'll see regarding that. But Raw does return to MSG. Raw was in MSG this past November 17th for John Cena's last MSG appearance. Raw returns to MSG this March 30th in Madison Square Garden for Monday Night Raw. So a little quick note on that as well, which is nice. I don't know how expensive the tickets are going to be, how much TKO is going to charge, and I don't know if we even go to that Raw. But if NXT the next day is going to be a theater in MSG the next day, you know who will go, and it'll be this guy. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Not sure about the Raw and MSG, but Raw will return to MSG this March 30th on the road during the road to WrestleMania 42, and I think it's like 2 weeks before WrestleMania 42 as well. If the WrestleMania 42 is going to be on April 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday night in Las Vegas. So, but yeah, Monday Night Raw returns to the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, this March on March 30th, which is a Monday night. We also got other news about Raw. Logan Paul re-signs with WWE, signed a new deal. We all know he's not going anywhere. It's nice to keep him around. Not a big Logan Paul fan, but he does get very nice, garnering good heel heat. He's part of the Vision as well. Self-explanatory. There was no reason to see him leaving. He's doing fine in the Vision. He's not going anywhere. So not much to say about that. And he's re-signed with WWE, which is a good move. So he's here to stay for the long term, signed a new long-term deal with the WWE. So good for Logan Paul. I'm happy he's getting his money and he's staying in the WWE where he belongs, and he's doing well for himself in the Vision. So not a big Logan Paul fan, but I got to give credit where credit's due. Happy for Logan Paul, and nice that he's making his money. So I will say that. And then we also get to the soon AEW talk. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite next here, episode 7 of Forbidden Podcast. We also got others to come. William Regal talking about the neck injury spot stuff. We're going to talk about that as well. And then AJ Styles on TNA AMC January 15th next week. And then the SmackDown talk from last night, Berlin, Germany, is what's left here of this show. So glad you guys, the hour and 5 minutes of the show. Happy you guys are here. You guys are awesome. And you in the chat, live chat are killing it. Those watching, I'm very happy you guys are here. And I appreciate every one of you. And very happy to be back, man. And also, we got, before I talk about the William Regal and AEW stuff, we got Bruce Harper in the chat. He says, "Hi, Nick. Hope you are doing good." Thank you, Bruce Harper. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well too. I've been sick, like with a stomach bug, the past couple weeks, but I'm feeling much better now. I had a dry cough, dry throat this past couple days too, but I'm feeling much better now. So, and a couple members of my family were feeling the same way, but they're much better now too. So it looks like it's like something was going around. So it looks like it's passed by now, which is a good thing. So. And then Bruce Robert says, "Nick, thank you for streaming." You are very welcome and glad to be back, man. And thank you for being here as well. I greatly appreciate you, just like every single one of you here. So I gotta say thank you to every one of you. I'm very grateful and appreciative of all of you here. So I do have to say that, and I am very, very thankful and cannot ask for anything better. Then Bruce Harper says, "Nick, I'm glad you are feeling better and hope you have a very good new year." Thanks, Bruce Harper. Same to you. Hopefully this year is better than last year. Last year was not good. Last year, 2025, was not a good year. And I don't think just wrestling. It was just overall, honestly, a few deaths in my family. One of my mom's best friends committed suicide the day before the July last summer. And then my mom's friend's funeral happened to be on my birthday, 29th birthday last year in August, and the other stuff. And then WWE and AEW were not good at all. But hopefully this year's better. Then Cameron. What's up, Cameron? What's up, Cameron Johnson in the chat, man? What's up, bro? Says, "Hi, Nick. Just stopping by before bed." Thank you, Cameron, very much for stopping by, man. And hope you're doing well. It's been a long while. Hope you're doing well, man. And hope we should talk soon. But hope you're doing well. And hopefully have a good, happy new year this year as well. Just like every single one of you here in the chat and all of those watching. So now off to AEW talk. AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday. Oh, we got Bruce Harper again in the chat. "Nick, I feel 2026 will be better, and I hope it was happier. It has happier things for you and your family, which I feel must be nice like you." It is very, very much appreciated from me, Bruce Harper. I very touched to hear. That deserves a round of applause right there. Thank you so much, Bruce Harper. It's genuinely greatly appreciated. I mean that from the heart. So thank you, Bruce. Very much appreciate it so much. So now into AEW talk here on the Forbidden Podcast. First time ever a part of the Forbidden Podcast at FioriousNation, talking about AEW. I kind of wish Adam Carl was here because I know he had a lot to say about AEW Dynamite, which was not a good show, Dynamite Wednesday at all. Not as bad as Mondays, but holy fucking shit, was it bad. It was fucking bad. We got the lights out match at the end of the main event. Why, I don't know. The less I talk about that shit, the better. We got Tony Khan. We got more Tony Khan booking for him fucking self. And then the biggest parts of Dynamite, out of that boring Dynamite episode, Andrade, back in AEW. He was fired with cause from WWE. Then he appears on AEW Dynamite this past October, and he appears on AEW while he was under WWE contract to appear on AEW television. Then WWE sent a cease and desist letter to AEW because Andrade was still contracted with WWE, and he had a 90-day no-compete clause, and he showed up on AEW Dynamite. Tony Khan and AEW management team didn't even do their research if Andrade was still tied with WWE or not, and then they take him off television after the WWE cease and desist letter to AEW, and then it looked like WWE was going to keep Andrade off no compete for a year. Then it looks like they worked it out, but now Andrade is back on AEW TV. But the last time Andrade was on AEW TV, folks, he attacked Kenny Omega. Now Andrade back on AEW TV. Did Tony Khan follow up with that? Of course not. Of course not. So Andrade doesn't follow up his thing with Kenny Omega, and Andrade's in the Don Callis family like he was in October when he came back to AEW TV. My God. So the more things change, the more they stay the same, huh? 2026, yeah, for AEW, yeah. New Year, same old shit. New Year, same shit. Andrade came back to AEW this past October when he came back and attacked Kenny Omega, joined the Don Callis family. Now he comes back to Dynamite this past Wednesday, no longer with WWE, now back fully with AEW, and he's still in the Don Callis family. Tell me what Andrade's going to do in AEW with him back there now. I can tell you he will do fucking nothing. Mark my words. Mark my words. And he's with the Don Callis family. What is there, 16 members of the Don Callis family now? 18? Like a dozen and a half? You could probably build an hour show with the Don Callis family, man. Jesus Christ. Like Andrade, Josh Alexander, Takeshita. Why he's not out of the group yet, I don't know what we're waiting for. And then you got, and then, oh, and it gets better. It gets better, folks. Not only Andrade now in the Don Callis family, we got someone from TNA no longer in TNA now in AEW. Jake something. Well, he's not Jake. Well, he's something, all right. He's just not Jake something. He is Jake Doyle, which I think is his real name, but my God, Jake Doyle name in AEW. Tell me it doesn't sound ridiculous, bro. My goodness. Like, you had Jake something in TNA. And now he's in AEW, and he's in a Don Callis family. And he looks like a twin with Mark Davis in the Don Callis family. This is the best you have for Jake something in AEW? Are you fucking kidding me? In the Don Callis family. Yeah, Jake something. He'll be Tony Khan's shiny new toy in AEW for 3, 4, 5 weeks. Then Tony will get bored of him very quick. And Jake something within about a month will feel just like everyone else in the AEW roster. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Jake something will go fucking nowheres in AEW. He'll be just another body on the roster. Just a new shiny toy for Tony Khan to play with. This will go fucking nowheres. And why is he in the Don Callis family? Why? I mean, I don't know why. I don't work for the company. I mean, you could ask Tony Khan why. It'll fall on deaf ears, though, but I just don't fucking understand. I don't fucking get it. You have 16, 18 members now. You could create another new wrestling show at this fucking faction, man. My God. Like, I have no fucking words, man. You take Jake something out of TNA for this. This is genuinely the best you have for a talented guy like Jake something. If this was the best you had for Jake something, you were better off letting him stay in TNA at that point. Seriously. This is the best creative in AEW have for a guy like Jake something. He will go nowheres in AEW. Mark my fucking words. And the same thing with Andrade. You think Andrade's going to be a world champion in AEW? Sure thing, buddy. Sure thing. Andrade, just like Jake something, within a short amount of time, will feel just like everyone else on the AEW roster. Andrade didn't do much in WWE either, but at least in WWE, he did something in late 2024 on SmackDown with Carmelo Hayes and then that little tag team with Rey Fenix around the summer of last year. What is AEW going to do differently with Andrade? What is AEW going to do with Andrade that is different than what WWE did? Tell me what. I'll wait. AEW will do fuck all with Andrade. He will be worse. A lot worse in AEW. I'm telling you right now. And also another thing, and I'm making a bold prediction here. And when this happens, you can quote this saying here, episode 7 of Forbidden Podcast on FioriousNation on YouTube. I guarantee it. By the end of 2026, Andrade will be gone from AEW again, and will be back right soon in WWE. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Because I see a pattern here. Andrade was in WWE, and he got released from WWE in March 2021. Then in June 2021, went to AEW. End of 2023, left AEW, went back to WWE at the 2024 Royal Rumble. Then end of summer, late August, around August of 2025 last year, leaves WWE. Then is back in AEW this past October. Then leaves, still contracted WWE. Then back in AEW this past Wednesday night, the first AEW Dynamite of 2026. And I guarantee you, by the end of 2026, Andrade won't last long in AEW, and he'll be gone from AEW once again, and will be back soon once again in WWE. I see a pattern here, folks. You see where I'm getting at? There's a pattern here with Andrade. So maybe Andrade is the problem. So when that happens and Andrade's gone by AEW by the end of the year, when that shit happens, you know where you heard it from and you know who you heard it from. Clip it right here. I guarantee it. I guarantee Andrade leaves AEW by the end of 2026. I would be shocked if that doesn't happen. And Dynamite was a boring ass fucking show. What else do you want me to say? Dynamite sucked. Dynamite sucked. And then we'll talk a little bit of some TNA stuff as well, briefly, before we talk about William Regal here. TNA is going to be on AMC, leaving Access TV. They're going to premiere on AMC next Thursday night, January 15th on AMC. AJ Styles is announced for the show. AJ Styles from WWE. On Monday Night Raw, he's going to be on the show, which is, I think, an awesome move. He's Mr. TNA and has not been in TNA for a very, very long time. And I think this is an excellent call, an excellent move right here. And I'm looking forward to it. I may actually even watch TNA on the AMC premiere next Thursday night. I may actually watch it. So looking forward to it. And I think I'm going to tune in. But AJ Styles on the AMC premiere for TNA. Excellent call by TNA. And I think it's great. And with this year being AJ Styles last year, want him to do some TNA stuff and him wanting to do TNA stuff this year possibly. I like it. I'm sure you guys probably feel the same way. And again, I think business-wise, this is a great, great call. So good on TNA for doing this and add some excitement, in my opinion, to the AMC premiere on the TNA premiere on AMC. So I'm excited with Mr. TNA AJ Styles returning home to TNA. So I'm genuinely looking forward to that. I am. And then we go to the William Regal talk. William Regal, man. Before we talk about that, I'm taking another sip of my water so I have enough voice because I got a lot to talk about with William Regal. And I have the tweet that William Regal talked about regarding AEW being too reckless. I have the tweets, and I'm going to pull it up right here. So let me find that out. As I do that, I'm taking a sip. Let's see here. I'm actually going to pull this up here on my notes. Let me get on here. Let me see here. Should pop up momentarily. Here we go. Let's see. William Regal. Here we go. Here we go. So I actually favorited and retweeted William Regal's tweet. It was from December 28th of 2025, by the way. So I want to read this. So listen to this right here. So here we go. Go. And here we go. So on December 28th of 2025, this is around the time after AEW World's End, where Kyle Fletcher and Jon Moxley had their semifinal Continental Classic match, where Kyle Fletcher and Jon Moxley had a dangerous spot where Kyle Fletcher landed on his head and could have really injured his neck bad. And this is what William Regal had to say overall about AEW's reckless, unsafe environment, where WWE has a safer environment. They're not having wrestlers go out there and kill themselves and break their necks and risk their lives out there. Whereas AEW, it's like they just let these guys do it, and girls do whatever they want and do pile drivers on the apron, multiple finisher kickouts, and match ends in a fruit roll-up or a small package, and there's no in-ring psychology in AEW whatsoever, whereas WWE, there's one finisher, doing a finisher one time, and it means something, and you're not going out there and breaking your necks out there, where AEW is a very reckless environment, and these guys are fucking killing themselves out there when they don't need to. So this is what William Regal says regarding the neck injury stuff, and he posted a picture in his tweet about his broken neck as well. This is what he said. William Regal said in this tweet, "I stay off here, but was alerted to something today that has alarmed me. I don't read any comments, so don't waste your time trying to argue or justify your very wrong opinions on this. I broke my neck twice. September 1993 in ring, and a car wreck in 1997, and stupidly never told anyone. And I was taught properly how to bridge and not land on the top of my head. It's a skill that maybe 99.9% of people don't know or will ever learn anymore. I kept going somehow, but knew all the tricks that, again, people don't learn now, and watch film and just copy. After Mizawa's son passed from his neck problems, I thought it would stop this nonsense, but it's got worse, and whenever I talk to people about them doing it, it's, quote, well, it doesn't hurt. Believe me, it will. I have people close to me now, Brian being one, who is suffering daily like myself from his neck. To daily misery and sleep and every other aspect of your life is more than hard. All the people use the term tough about me. You'll never hear me say that, as I'm not, and I don't think I am or have ever been. Money and whatever nonsense fame is supposed to be is not worth the pain or supposed to evening glory you get from these ridiculous moves, dropping yourself on your head. The vast majority of fans don't know the difference between a vertical suplex and a brainbuster, and that's a far tamer move than many I see now. I'm 57 and become less relevant every day, but fame has never been my thing, so most of you doing this stupid stuff are not going to listen to me, but hopefully if you do. Stop it now if you want a decent quality of life after wrestling, because that part of your life will be over before you know it, and wrestling done right is hard enough, but broken necks or death are not something you should think is tough or cool. It's idiotic thinking." Tell William Regal when he's telling lies. Tell Mr. Regal when he's telling lies. I don't think he's lying at all, in my honest opinion. He's not lying whatsoever. A guy like William Regal, who's been in and around the business, a legend, a future Hall of Famer, and if you're a new wrestler in the industry, how do you sit there and not take this advice from a legend in the business like William Regal? If I was a young wrestler in the industry, I'd take the advice from Regal. I would. And the guy's been around the business for years. He's seen a lot of people come and go. And he's very knowledgeable about the industry, and he knows what he's talking about and knows his shit. Why would you sit there and not listen, say, piss off, William Regal, fuck you, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't need to hear your old-ass advice. How do you sit there and not take that advice? And Regal isn't wrong. Is it really worth going out there and risking your fucking life, like dropping people on their heads most of the times on the apron, like pile drivers on the aprons 3-5 different fucking times in an AEW match, and risking your neck out there? Is it really worth doing that because AEW can't sell out fucking arenas? Is it really worth it? Like, a pile driver on the apron is very fucking dangerous. Like, you don't need to go out there and kill yourself to prove a point with the match to sell a show. WWE in their in-ring environment is a lot more safer, where they protect their opponents and they do move it safe and they protect themselves and their opponents so they're not killing themselves, their opponent, and stuff. You don't got to go out there and risk your life. And WWE's a lot safer. They're not doing these chair shots in the heads anymore, not doing these risky, like, pile drivers off the apron or off the top rope or second rope. This package pile driver was banned for 10, 15 years until Kevin Owens started doing it during the feud with Cody Rhodes in early 2025 last year. There was a reason they didn't do that, because it was dangerous, and Kevin Owens done it in a much safer way to make the move also mean something. By the way, he did it in a safer way, and also at the same time, Kevin Owens made it mean something. AEW, you see all these finishers, one finisher kick out, second finisher kick out, third finisher kick out, fourth finisher kick out, fifth finisher kick out, sixth finisher kick out. Maybe more finisher kick outs, folks? Do I keep on going here? And then we end the match in a fucking fruit roll-up in an AEW match. There's no in-ring psychology in AEW whatsoever. None. Whereas WWE, you just do a finisher once, and it's a lot more impactful and has a lot more value and meaning behind it. You don't need to go out there and do half a dozen finishers and kill someone out there to prove a point, just because AEW can't sell out tickets. And I hope someone from AEW is listening to this, by the way, too. Not just from William Regal, but from here too. AEW wrestlers do not need to go out there and put their lives on line to risk their necks just to prove that AEW, like, oh, AEW's were the best wrestle. Yeah? You don't need to go out there and fucking kill yourself and kill someone out there, give them a concussion or give them a neck injury where they can't wrestle anymore. You don't need to drop someone on their head on the apron or on the floor to prove a point. You don't need to fucking do all that shit just to make your point. All you need is a story. You don't need just a match in dangerous fucking spots where it looks fucking dangerous, or a move off like the AEW stage, or a move or a leaping powerbomb from the stage, AEW stage, on a car, for example, just theorizing. You don't gotta fucking do that. I mean, shit looks dangerous, but you don't need to do that. You don't need all the blood and guts. Moxley bleeds in matches every fucking week. You don't need that every single week. WWE doesn't do blood in matches every week. And they do it once in a while when a feud calls for it. And when they do it, they don't do it all the time. And when they do it, it means something. AEW just beats it with a fucking dead horse. They do it every single week, and it means nothing. And you wonder why AEW gets shit on for that. And rightfully so. You don't need to have wrestlers bleed every week. You don't need all the plunder every single week with AEW Dynamite every week, a plunder match or a hardcore match every single Dynamite. You don't need that every week. You don't need wrestlers kicking out of constant finishers every single time on AEW. You don't need wrestlers going out there and dropping people on their fucking necks, potentially injuring them or worst case killing them. You don't need that shit. You don't. All you need is a good story to sell AEW and their product. But I doubt they listen, because it goes in one ear, out the other with Tony Khan. He just books for himself like it's a E-Fed, because Tony Khan's a sicko, like a lot of the AEW sickos. But I doubt they listen to this, and I think they need to listen to this, because AEW in 2019 and 2020 wasn't all about dropping people on their heads. They were about story. I wish AEW was like that. If AEW was like that, they'd be so much better off now. But will they listen? I highly doubt it. Very, very much so. Especially how Tony Khan responded to William Regal's take. And it's ridiculous what Tony Khan replied to with William Regal's take. When I read you this, it's going to sound utterly fucking ridiculous, I'm telling you. Like, if I can find it here, I'll pull it up. But I read it the other day and it sounds absolutely fucking ludicrous. Listen to this shit. Listen to this. Tony Khan responds to William Regal's recent comments about the safety of the wrestlers. Like wrestler safety with dangerous spots. And this is what Tony Khan had to say. And when I read you this, it's going to sound absolute fucking just total ludicrous. Listen to this. This is what Tony Khan said about William Regal's recent comments of that. About wrestler safety. Tony Khan says, quote, "The pro wrestlers are always taking hard-hitting, high-risk chances. And that's one of the things that makes pro wrestling so exciting." Yeah, high-risk chances, yeah. How about storytelling, Mr. Khan? How about that? About high-risk chances. Give me a fucking break. And stories would make it exciting, too. Not what you're doing right now, Mr. Tony Khan. Then Tony Khan also says, quote, "But in AEW, we've been able to have all these great events. We've never had a career-ending injury like that from our wrestling." Well, if you keep doing what you're doing now, and what happens when someone gets severely injured or worst case death? Do they need that for AEW to fucking wake up and get a fucking grip? Is that what they need? That's the last thing they fucking need. My goodness. Then he says, and I don't think that AEW is any different than any other wrestling promotion in the world where the wrestlers want to do their very best. Didn't I say this was going to sound ridiculous coming from this fucking snowman Tony Khan? This fucking Mark Tony Khan. Then Tony Khan continues, and sometimes promotion will step in, and AEW and I have at times stepped in and said, quote, "I can't do that. I don't think that's a good idea, and I don't want to do that every day or every match. But sometimes it comes up, and it's okay. Everything you're talking about, there are things you constantly balance in sports, not just in AEW, but in all of sports, taking care of your athletes and doing things to protect the health and safety of the athletes that make the sport work." And that's end quote of that, of Tony Khan's recent comments about William Regal's recent comments of the wrestler safety. Tony Khan, he fucking amazes me. You know that? Fucking snowman Tony Khan. Utterly ridiculous takes on William Regal's comments. Regal said no lies here. And typical Tony Khan, like the fucking mark he is, says, "Oh, well, we know it's too dangerous. I sometimes step in and say no." Well, you let your I'm sorry, Tony Khan. Don't you tell a lot of your wrestlers? Don't you tell a lot of your wrestlers? Don't a lot of them? Don't you tell? Do you tell a lot of them not the answer of no? And then sometimes you have to step in, but you don't tell MJF no, or Darby Allin no, or anybody else in the AEW company no. You don't tell Moxley no. You don't tell the Death Riders no. You don't tell them no, unless it's something utterly ridiculous and you have to step in and say no. But it's like we haven't had an injury or whatnot. Pretty much disregarding what Regal said. I don't know if Tony Khan has it out for William Regal. I don't know. But just utterly ridiculous comments, man. Like, it just sounds so fucking delusional from a guy like Tony Khan. And as I take another sip, because my throat's getting dry, as motherfucker. Jesus. Tony Khan sounds like a fucking delusional little mark that he is. Seriously. Just, what happens when on AEW Dynamite someone fucking dies out there? What excuse is Tony Khan gonna say then? Huh? I love to see that. Just nothing but fucking spewing excuses and bullshit from Tony Khan. Just fucking denial and delusion. Like Tony Khan usually is. Tony Khan's a clown. He's a clown. He doesn't know a fucking thing about business or good business in wrestling. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's a matchmaker. Plain and simple. He's not a boss. If he was a boss, he'd go out there and say, you know what? I don't think we need this unsafe environment in my company. I think it's best that we don't have these wrestlers go out there and fucking kill themselves. I think these wrestlers shouldn't go out there and kill themselves and tell a story. But Tony Khan doesn't do that. He's a pushover and a nice guy. He doesn't tell anyone no. He tells no one no. Because he's too nice of a guy. He's not a boss. He's not a boss at all. And you wonder why AEW is in the state that they're in right now. Because of an incompetent leader like Tony Khan. Who just wants to befriend everybody. And you wonder why. William Regal told no lies here. And Tony Khan is usual in fucking denial. Which I'm not shocked by. But it fucking blows my mind that this clown Tony Khan, now he's such in fucking denial, dude. So fucking delusional. It's not even funny. And you wonder why AEW is in the shit state they're in. They had their worst ever creative year last year at AEW. And I don't see them getting better anytime soon unless Tony Khan steps down. Honestly. It's going to be a long year for AEW, dudes. It's going to be a long-ass year for AEW. Mark my fucking words. So now we got AEW talk out of the way. We got the main event talk for this show. Talk about SmackDown last night. Live from Berlin, Germany. We got a lot to talk about with this one, so I'm excited. And last night, SmackDown Berlin in Germany, I watched it. Not a perfect show, not better than the first SmackDown of 2026 in Buffalo, New York, which was a very good show. Last night in Berlin was not better than that show, but last night in Berlin was much better than Raw this past Monday. I take last night's SmackDown in Berlin over this past Monday's Raw in Brooklyn 7 days of the fucking week. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. It's facts. It's 100% facts. So, as I take another sip of my waters, because I want to be able to have a full voice talk about the last portion of the show, the SmackDown talk from last night, and 3 Stages of Hell, and a new WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. Congratulations to Drew McIntyre as the brand new WWE champion. Damn, that's good stuff. Got SmackDown last night, live from Berlin, Germany. They taped it early in Berlin, early in the day yesterday, because it's a different time zone over in Berlin. And it's live internationally SmackDown Netflix, but not in the United States. Unless you use a VPN, which I don't use, by the way. That's just me. But I did watch it after it was taped, and I watched on USA Network last night. It was okay. It was decent. Not better than last week's SmackDown, but not bad. And there was news where it was new. There was some news coming out of it, and some excitement going into the next week, especially the ending of SmackDown last night, and some stuff announced for SmackDown next week regarding WWE Championship implications. But we'll talk about that. We will definitely talk about that. We got some other SmackDown news to talk about. Tommaso Ciampa is apparently leaving the WWE as his WWE contract is up this March, which surprises me because he's a big Triple H guy, and I'm shocked that Tommaso Ciampa is leaving. He is older, and he's not a spring chicken anymore. He does have the problems with the hip injury and the neck problems. DIY have been recently feuding with Fraxium, with Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov over the United States Championship. Tommaso Ciampa was last seen on SmackDown television in mid-December last month. I think it was him and Ilya Dragunov for the United States title, which was very good. And then he had DIY versus Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes on SmackDown the week before. Carmelo beat Dragunov for the U.S. title. That was another good match as well. And Ciampa hasn't been seen since mid-December of last month. And apparently Ciampa's WWE contract is up this March and is not renewing and plans on leaving when his contract's up. Tommaso Ciampa was the heart and soul of NXT Black and Gold. I will never forget where DIY beat the Revival FDR for the NXT Tag Titles, Survivor Series 2016 weekend in Toronto, Canada, 2 out of 3 falls. Great stuff. One of the best NXT Tag Team title matches of all time, in my opinion. I watched that. That was great stuff. Great stuff from two great tag teams. And FTR / the Revival and DIY of Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And then NXT TakeOver Chicago, 1 May 2017 in Chicago, where Tommaso Ciampa turned on Johnny Gargano, and Ciampa was just rained with boos, and then he came out to no music, and then he got injured. And then he came back in January 2018, cost Johnny Gargano the NXT title against Andrade at NXT TakeOver Philly at Royal Rumble 2018 weekend in Philadelphia, where Ciampa came back with the crutch, and he was doing this, and he came out with no theme music, just rains of boos. Then he hit Johnny Gargano from behind with the crotch. Then it led to Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano in an unsanctioned match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans at WrestleMania 34 weekend in New Orleans, April 2018. The best takeover of all time, by the way. TakeOver New Orleans was great fucking stuff. Not one bad match. Every single match was more than good. They totally nailed it out of the park, that takeover. And it was better than WrestleMania that year. Not even close. And when the main event was the unsanctioned match between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, where if Gargano won, he'd get his job back. And he got his job back. And he won with the STF with Tommaso Ciampa's knee brace. And Ciampa during the match is doing that stuff, but Johnny won. And then you had Tommaso Ciampa in the summer of 2018 beat Aleister Black on an episode of NXT Black and Gold to win the NXT Championship. He had Tommaso Ciampa's NXT champion with the NXT title he called Goldie. Then I think they had the grandma sit in the front row. This is when NXT was in Full Sail, and Tommaso Ciampa told the grandma in the front row at Full Sail, "I am your NXT champion, the sports entertainer. I am your NXT champion." It was great stuff. Ciampa was a big fucking heel in NXT in 2018. It was so good, so great, awesome stuff. And then Ciampa had this theme song, "No One Will Survive" by CFO. A very good CFO song, by the way. And then it led to Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and their rivalry and their battles and stuff. They're best friends, like more than friends, like brothers in real life and stuff. They know each other for years and years. They know each other extremely well. Then Tommaso Ciampa was NXT champion. Then he won the title a couple times. And then he won it one time during the 2.0 era of NXT, which was god-awful. Lost the title to Braun Breaker. The first NXT of 2022 lost to the Braun Breaker. Then Tommaso Ciampa got called up to the Raw brand on the main roster right after WrestleMania, shortly after WrestleMania in 2022. Was placed on the Raw brand and then was with The Miz, which was not that good. Then when Vince went away, originally in 2022, and Triple H took over, when it was no Endeavor, and no TKO, no Ari Emanuel, no Mark Shapiro and stuff. And Triple H took over from Vince in the summer of 2022. Ciampa's wrestling Bobby Lashley on Raw for the U.S. title, and Ciampa injured his hip. Then in June of 2023 on Raw, he came back from hip surgery, and he was back in the fold. He left The Miz, ditched The Miz, beat The Miz, destroyed The Miz. Then they got DIY back together on Raw in late 2023 after WWE was sold to Endeavor and Vince was out of creative and Triple H went in creative, and Ari Emanuel knighted Triple H as the head of creative 100%. And then DIY were back together again, Wrestling Imperium, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. And then DIY get drafted to SmackDown in the 2024 WWE draft, got drafted from Raw to SmackDown. They won the tag titles. They held it for like a month and dropped them to the new bloodline of Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, stuff like that. Then DIY turned heel in December of 2024, an episode of SmackDown, turned heel and beat the Motor City Machine Guns to win the tag team titles again on SmackDown. That kind of stuff. And then they had, I think they were in that TLC match for the tag titles on SmackDown, the SmackDown after WrestleMania last year in Fort Worth, Texas, I think. I think they were in I think it was DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits. I could be wrong. But that was a match of the year candidate 2025. That was a banger fucking match, that TLC match for the WWE Tag Team titles, which should have been a WrestleMania last year, in my opinion. Why it wasn't on the card, I have no idea. Because that match was really, really good. But there was that. And then after that, throughout, like, especially like around late 2025, they haven't done much outside. But then it's like when they got to the U.S. title stuff with Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes. And then Ciampa fought for the U.S. title in a losing effort, but then he was last seen in mid-December on SmackDown last month in a tag team match, losing effort to Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov when Gargano and Ciampa lost to them. Ciampa hasn't, and that was the last time Ciampa was on TV. Now Ciampa's leaving possibly this March. He says he's not renewing his deal and he's letting his contract run out this March. Which I'm surprised he's leaving because he's a big Triple H guy. Tommaso Ciampa, Triple H go way back, especially to the NXT Black and Gold days. I'm genuinely surprised he's leaving. I don't know if I'd say he flopped in the main roster. He did well on NXT because he was a big fish in a small pond. But on the main, I mean, some NXT acts work on NXT, maybe some not in the main roster. I don't know. But I mean, he hasn't done much of anything lately on SmackDown. But I wouldn't say he got ruined. Like, I've seen a lot worse with ruined. Ciampa, I don't think is even that close. And this is no secret. Triple H loves Tommaso Ciampa. This is absolutely no secret. I don't think Triple H wants to lose him to anybody. And maybe Ciampa just wants to let his contract run out and just take some time off with his family or take time to heal from injuries. He's had history with neck problems and the hip surgery done in a couple years ago. And he's not young anymore. He is getting older. I think he's in his 40s, I think. And Ciampa's not any younger at all. Maybe he wants time off to heal from nagging injuries. Maybe he wants some time off, and then when the time's right, he signs a new deal with WWE. Maybe like Santos Escobar let his contract run out, then he signed back to WWE after a while, and now he's still not back on WWE TV now. I don't know what they're waiting for. Hopefully he's back soon now that SmackDown's 3 hours now for at least the first 6 months of this year. So I don't know what to do with that, but we'll see. But maybe Ciampa wants some time off. He requests it, and he got it. And he's just going to let his contract run out and just take time off. And then when he's ready to come back, he'll probably call Triple H again and ask to come back. And I'm sure Triple H will bring him back, no problem. Because, like I said, Tommaso Ciampa is a big Triple H guy. Triple H loves Tommaso Ciampa. This is no secret. But I think that's probably what's the case is. I don't think Tommaso Ciampa is leaving for AEW. And AEW would not know what to do with Tommaso Ciampa. And with the unsafe in-ring environment of AEW, I don't think that's a good fit for Tommaso Ciampa at all. I don't. When his contract expires, I think he takes time off to heal from nagging injuries. When the time's right, just because his contract, he may leave WWE in March, doesn't mean he's never coming back to WWE. I could see him just leave, take time off, and then when he's healthy, ready to come back, he'll go back in WWE. I think that's probably what they're doing. And maybe for the time being, when his contract is up in March, maybe he'll do TNA for a while before coming back to WWE. And TNA does have their partnership with WWE, especially the NXT brand. And if Ciampa's in TNA and stuff, could you imagine Ciampa in TNA return with NXT and maybe a TNA guy and Tommaso Ciampa win the NXT title? I mean, Tommaso Ciampa is no stranger to the NXT Championship with Goldie, you know? So I think that would be great. And with TNA on AMC, they're going to need, I think they're probably going to need somebody that's going to help draw them nice viewership every Thursday on AMC. Tommaso Ciampa could be that guy, honestly. And Mike Santana, yes, he's there. They got Steve Macklin. I don't know if Mike Santana is signing a new deal with TNA or not. WWE, I'm sure, is very interested in bringing him in. And if he leaves for WWE or slash NXT, they're going to need someone to fill that spot for the time being. Tommaso Ciampa could very well much be that guy. Who knows? But that could very well be. I think TNA would be a very good fit for Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know how you guys feel. That's how I feel. I think Tommaso Ciampa TNA. I don't think it doesn't sound like a bad idea, and I don't see why not. And if he's with TNA, he could still pretty much be with WWE with especially with that partnership. If he's with TNA, that's kind of like he never left WWE because of the partnership with WWE and TNA. And if he's with TNA and with the NXT and TNA partnership, he could very well much be on NXT TV again. Who knows? Maybe Tommaso Ciampa becomes the first ever TNA wrestler, maybe, to win and hold the NXT Championship, possibly. That could be. And then he's in TNA for a while, as NXT champion, maybe the TNA title for a little while, maybe sign a year with TNA, then the next year, maybe 2027, at least come back to WWE, and he's much better off for it. Maybe that's what they're doing. So I don't know how you guys feel. This is just me theorizing. So I want to hear your thoughts. I want to get your opinions on that and what you think might be happening, what might be happening with Tommaso Ciampa as his WWE contract expires this past March. Johnny Gargano looks like he's staying. He'll be fine. I don't think he's going anywhere. Neither is Candice LeRae. So Gargano and LeRae, I think they're okay. I can't see them going anywhere. So I think they're going to be staying. But Tommaso Ciampa, man, I think he either goes to TNA for a while, then comes back to WWE. Probably takes a little time off to heal from nagging injuries and then come back to WWE, calls Triple H to come back. I think that's probably the likely scenario. So let me know what you guys think, but I think Tommaso Ciampa probably asked for the time off, and in probably 9 times out of 10, he was granted it. So if you ask me, that's probably more likely than not the likely scenario here regarding Tommaso Ciampa. So, got that out of the way. Jordynne Grace. Apparently, Jordynne Grace is officially called up to the main roster. She's not in NXT anymore. And apparently, she is signed officially. It is official with the SmackDown brand. So, Jordynne Grace is now officially SmackDown. I think this is a very good move. But you need a lot more than Jordynne Grace. Sol Ruca, Lola Vice, Jacy Jayne, Jada Parker, Fallon Henley I'd even call up. Honestly, maybe get a new Fatal Influence on SmackDown with Jacy Jayne, Fallon Henley, and Kiana James, with Jacy Jayne as the leader, and Kiana and Fallon as the tag team. And after all, Kiana James and Fallon Henley are former NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, by the way, and have that new Fatal Influence on SmackDown with Jacy Jayne, Kiana James, Fallon Henley. I think it could work. And the Kiana James and Julia pairing makes no sense from the beginning. And I would get Kiana James and Julia split up and away from each other. Maybe the SmackDown after Mania, if it ever happens, you know where you heard it. I think Kendall Gray beats Jacy Jayne for the NXT Women's title, stand and deliver WrestleMania 42 weekend in Las Vegas. I think that is the plan. Jacy Jayne, I think, is facing Sol Ruca soon for the championship, but Sol Ruca's not winning the NXT Women's title. And that'll be Sol Ruca's last match in NXT before being called up to the main roster. And I put Sol Ruca on SmackDown and if I was booking things. But as far as Jacy Jayne, she holds the NXT Women's title to stand and deliver, drops it to Kendall Gray. Then the SmackDown after Mania, I would split up Kiana James and Julia. And when doing so, have Kiana turn on Julia as she joins a call up to SmackDown, Fallon Henley and Jacy Jayne, and you form a new Fatal Influence female heel trio group on SmackDown, a new Fatal Influence group on SmackDown, with pitting Jacy Jayne, the leader, and then with Jacy Jayne, Fallon Henley, and Kiana James. I think that could work. Now, you mentioned Nick Fury. What about Lainey Reed? She's in Fatal Influence from NXT, right? Yes, she is, but I don't think she's ready yet for the main roster. If anything, I think Jacy gets called up with Fallon. I can't see Lainey Reed called up as well. I don't think she's ready yet for the main roster. She's still very much new to NXT. So, if you're going to call up Jacy Jayne, I think Fallon Henley is also ready, not just Jacy. Fallon Henley's been there for like 4 years as well. 4 or 5 years as well. It's time to call her up as well. Just my take. But a new Fatal Influence on SmackDown with Jacy Jayne, Fallon Henley, and Kiana James, I think it could probably work. And you get a Jacy Jayne, Julia, feud on SmackDown after WrestleMania over the women's US title. I mean, if you want to do that right, you could. I think that's a good way to go. Let me know what you guys think. I think that could probably work, and that may not be that could probably be something. So I want to get your thoughts on that. So that's just a thought. Honestly, I think that's a thought. And if you want to start up Jacy Jayne right, and if you want to start Jacy Jayne off right on the main roster, I think that's probably the way to go, in my opinion. And Jacy Jayne will be, I think, and Jacy Jayne, and she's gotten better lately, and I could see her getting called up after WrestleMania, and I'd put her on SmackDown. You want a damn good heel on SmackDown? I think Jacy Jayne could be that one in that mid-card on SmackDown over that women's US title. I think that would be ideal. So that's what I think. I think that would be the right fit for Jacy Jayne, and have her and let her have a decent little run with the women's US title. It could, I don't think it would hurt. And have Julia defend against Jacy Jayne, and Jacy Jayne eventually beats her for it and stuff like that. And Jacy Jayne could rule that SmackDown women's division mid-card, probably. So just a thought. Just a thought. But I don't know if it'll happen, but that's just a theory. And I think that would be a nice way to debut Jacy Jayne on the main roster. Just my overall take. I want to get your thoughts in the comments of how you would do it. So, but Jordynne Grace, like I said, is called up to SmackDown. Right move. I don't know. She was supposed to be called up this during 2025. I don't know what they waited for on that. Should have been called up months ago. And she was ready and has been ready. So I'm happy she's on SmackDown. I'm glad she's on SmackDown. This is the right move. But you're going to need a lot more than Jordynne Grace. And SmackDown's women's division needs all the help they can get. Jordynne Grace, Sol Ruca, Lola Vice, missing somebody, Jacy Jayne, Fallon Henley, Jada Parker. You add those women to SmackDown. That's a very nice mid-card on there. And probably some for the main event on SmackDown. You got Jordynne Grace. You could do mid-card or main event. You got Julia. You got Bianca Belair. Hopefully she's back soon. You got Tiffany Stratton as well. She's been off TV for a while because of an injury. Jade Cargill, who I'm not high on at all, and she has not been a good women's champion whatsoever. She's not been a good women's champion at all. All Jade Cargill says is, "I'm that bitch." Okay, you're gonna have to give me a lot more than that, Miss Cargill, because right now I'm not feeling it at all. And I can't wait for Bianca Belair to get back to save us from this fucking reign of terror from Jade Cargill. She has not done good with that title at all. At all. And I can't wait for Jade Cargill's reign to be over. And when it's over, Jade Cargill will go down as one of the worst women's champion in recent modern era. I'm telling you now. Jade Cargill's done fuck all with that title. And I'm just not high on her whatsoever. She's just not good. She's just not good. And I don't see her getting better. But Jordynne Grace officially signed with SmackDown. She beat Alba Fyre in a quick match. Not much to it. And poor Alba Fyre, man. She was great as Kaylee Ray in NXT UK when she held that NXT UK women's title for many, many months. And she was a damn good heel in NXT UK. You're looking for a damn good heel on SmackDown. Alba Fyre could be something like that if booked right. But for months and months, she's been booked like a fucking punching bag in the Secret Service, which is god-awful, by the way, with Chelsea Green. Alba Fyre's a loser. She's a loser, and I hate to say that because I've watched her work as Kaylee Ray in NXT UK and on the Indies before that, and she's that damn good. She's a very good wrestler and a very good heel at that, and she could really be that top 2 heel on that SmackDown women's division, honestly. And it feels like a shell of her former self from NXT UK, and look at her now. It's literally night and day. And I feel bad for Kaylee Ray. And her in this, and what is with Alba Fyre, like this secret service suit? It's not her at all. It's not her whatsoever. And I wish they would just get her away from Chelsea Green and the Secret Service crap once and for all. I would say have Chelsea Green with Matt Cardona, who she's married to, and with Ethan Page. Call him up to SmackDown from NXT. He's another guy that's ready for the main roster. And he's actually another good heel, too, as Ethan Page. Very good promo. And And Ethan Page and Matt Cardona pair them as a tag team on SmackDown, a heel tag team on SmackDown, and managed by Chelsea Green, and SmackDown could use some tag teams. I think that would be a nice way to go about it, honestly. Now, Cardona and Page can both do the singles thing with the U.S. title, no problem, too, but they can also do the tag team as well. They could do tag team and singles mid-card thing. So, but I would get Alba Fire and Chelsea Green split up, and I would change Alba Fire back to Kaylee Ray. And I think Jordynne Grace even acknowledged the Kaylee Ray name on X not long ago. So Jordynne Grace recognizes talent. So I just wish Alba Fire was changed back to Kaylee Ray. I really do. Because Kaylee Ray, I've watched her work in NXT UK. She was fucking awesome in NXT UK. Her stuff with Toni Storm and Piper Niven. Then her stuff with Meiko Satomura. Kaylee Ray was great. She was fucking great in NXT UK. So damn good over there. And you look at her now, it's like, who the fuck is this? Like, what happened? You know? And it's a shame. It's a shame. I wish they would get rid of that Alba Fire name and change her back to Kaylee Ray and give us the NXT UK Kaylee Ray on SmackDown. I think it would make things a lot better. It would make the SmackDown Women's Division a lot better, too. Because look at, especially now, Jade Cargill's Women's Champion. It's not working out. It's not working out. It's not working out at all. And I don't know when Bianca Belair is getting back. I don't know if she's going to be back soon. I'm hoping she's back soon. I don't know. They're waiting for Bianca Belair to get back. That can't come fast enough. That honestly can't come fast enough. The sooner Bianca Belair gets back, the EST gets back, the better that SmackDown Women's Division is going to be. And now Bianca win the Rumble and take the belt off Jade Cargill at WrestleMania and just end this Jade Cargill experiment. It's a fail. It's a fail, 100%. I don't care what anyone says. Jade Cargill has fucking flopped as the women's champion. Even before when she was the women's champion, she was a flop. No, I do not buy Jade Cargill whatsoever as the women's champion. It's going nowheres. There's no competition. She's fighting is B-Fab and Meechin, who are injured now. And they were injured at house shows and matches with Jade Cargill, by the way. And I can't wait for that title to come off Jade Cargill. The sooner it's off Cargill, the better. And when she loses that title to whomever, Jade Cargill will go down as one of the worst women's champions of all time. I'm telling you now. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Jade Cargill as the women's champion has been fucking awful. Awful. Makes you think they should have never took that belt off Tiffany Stratton at Saturday Night's Main Event on November 1st in Utah last November. But just based off with what we're getting now. Just saying. Just saying. But we also got on the show. Let's take another step. Another sip. Here we go. Another water drop. So, found my water. Well, anyways, let's look at the chat here. Here we go. Mitch Klopsky in the chat. Great stream, bro. I'm going to bed. Have a great one. Thanks, Mitch. You as well. And thank you for tuning in. And I appreciate it, bro. So now more SmackDown talk from Berlin, Germany last night as well. I talked about Matt Cardona. He returned on SmackDown, the first SmackDown of the new year on Buffalo. He took on and defeated Kit Wilson, who's apparently gone viral lately. But it's a conversation for another time. Adam Carl and I will talk about that next week for episode 8 of Forbidden Podcast next Saturday. But anyways, Matt Cardona's back. Happy he's back. He's put his name in the WWE title hunt as well. Talk about that in a little bit momentarily as well. And we got SmackDown last night, Berlin, Germany. We had Randy Orton open the show. Big pop. Berlin, Germany is singing Voices, Randy Orton's theme song, which is a beautiful thing to hear and see. And then we had Trick Williams. Pulling up some notes here. Right here. Here we go. Here we go. So we had Randy Orton open the show. Everyone singing voices. You had Trick Williams interrupt Randy Orton. He gets a big pop. Everyone in Berlin is chanting loudly, "Whoop that trick, whoop that trick." Sadly, no Booker T say, "Yeah, whoop that trick, yeah, whoop that trick, what, whoop that trick, yeah, whoop that trick, whoop that trick, I like it, whoop that trick, oh yeah, man, whoop that trick, oh yeah, man, whoop that trick, that's trick, y'all." No, sadly, no Booker T is the hype man, but I digress. But either way, Trick Williams interrupts Randy Orton. He gets a very nice pop in Berlin. And I gotta say this here, folks. Otherwise, it would not be me, and I would not be honest with you guys. Trick Williams is a star. He oozes star. He has the aura. The guy is a star. No questions asked. And he's going to do very well for himself on the main roster. Mark my words. And there's no denying that at all. The guy just oozes star, charisma. He has that it factor. He has come a long way in the ring and on the mic. Has the personality and all. He's a total package. He is a future piece that will main event WrestleMania, multiple WrestleManias in the future. I'm telling you right now. When that happens, you know where you heard it. And Trick Williams is the sky's the limit for Trick Williams on the main roster. Guy's going to make a major, major splash on the main roster. And I'm happy he's called up and he's on SmackDown. He's been ready for months and he's done everything in NXT. And I'm happy he's called up and finally he's called up and rightfully he's on SmackDown. And apparently he's married to Lash Legend, engaged, going to be married in the future to Lash Legend, who's also on SmackDown, get engaged and married to Trick Williams. So, and also Carmelo Hayes, his very familiar foe, is on SmackDown too, as well. And I think we get Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes at WrestleMania for the United States title, but Trick Williams wins the U.S. title. I could absolutely see that. And they relieve their stand and deliver 2024 Philadelphia WrestleMania 40 weekend days, where at that time Carmelo Hayes was a heel and Trick Williams was a babyface. Now the roles are reversed, and Trick Williams is the heel and Carmelo Hayes is the babyface. When that happens, I think we're going to be in good with that. And Trick Williams is, like I said, he's going to go very far, no doubt about it. And I'm very happy and excited that he's on the main roster and he's on SmackDown. And 2 weeks so far on SmackDown, he's done well. The first one in Buffalo when he interrupted Sami Zayn, had a very good segment last week with Sami Zayn. Very, very good stuff. He had a very good segment with Randy Orton, said this isn't, and he had a very good segment with Randy Orton here saying, Randy, this isn't 2006. This isn't 2006. This is 2026. Blah, blah, blah. And Randy said, I don't know what they taught you in NXT, but did you learn never turn your back on the Viper? And then there was one point where I think the mic was thrown by Trick and then must have hit a fan or someone, which wasn't supposed to happen. And you hear Trick Williams say, oh, fuck, or oh, shit. They bleeped it out, but you could visibly hear and see it. So if it was hit the fan in the front row, hopefully that fan's okay. But then it led to Trick Williams taking on Rey Fenix, who's not doing much of anything on SmackDown. I just move him to Raw, put him with his brother Penta. Reunite the Lucha Bros on Monday Night Raw. A show that desperately needs tag teams, especially now with Usos as tag team champions on Raw. Imagine Usos and Lucha Bros for the World Tag Team titles at WrestleMania. Take my fucking money. Seriously. I don't know why we're not doing that, and Rey Fenix is not doing much of anything now on SmackDown. He's better than he was in AEW, but he could be doing so much more right now, honestly. But he takes on Trick Williams. This is a good match. This is a really good match. Trick Williams won with a roll-up, and it protects Rey Fenix. But this was good stuff. Both guys look good, especially Trick Williams. And Trick Williams was in there with a very good wrestler like Rey Fenix. And you want my answer if Trick Williams passed their flying colors here? I will say, from my honesty, yes, he did. He passed very, very well with flying colors, like an A. So Trick Williams had a good segment. He's had a good segment with Sami Zayn, good segment with Randy Orton, and a good match with Rey Fenix. But a big name like Sami Zayn, a bigger name like Randy Orton, and a very notable name like Rey Fenix, if you can hang with those three names, you're going to do very well in the main roster. And Trick Williams was able to hang with Sami, Randy, and Phoenix. So you can hang in there with those three talented guys. You're going to do very well for yourself on the main roster. And Trick Williams certainly is going to do very well for himself, for sure, on Friday Night SmackDown. And I look forward to what Trick Williams has in store with SmackDown. I'm genuinely excited of what he's going to do in the future for Friday night. So very happy to see Trick Williams flourish and succeed on the main roster on SmackDown. It's a very nice thing to see. And a very good match and showing with Trick Williams against Rey Fenix as well. This was good stuff also. Then you had The Miz, I think, with this as well. I don't really care for The Miz also. Kind of got he eats an RKO for Morton as well. I think before this match with Trick and Phoenix as well. He also had Byron Saxton interviewing Julia backstage. You had Damian Priest saying he's ready to move on from Aleister Black, so the Aleister Black Damian Priest feud is over. Thank fucking God. Thank God. They were feuding since June? And now their feud's finally over. Praise the fucking Lord on that. Now, Aleister Black lost the ambulance match. Damian Priest on SmackDown Buffalo last week. The ambulance match, Priest went over Black. Aleister Black's not buried, by the way. He'll be fine. But if anyone needed that win in that ambulance match, it was Damian Priest. So I'm glad he won. And I'm glad this feud with Priest and Black with Damian Priest and Aleister Black is finally over and put to bed. So I'm very happy they end that feud because that feud was going on way too long. And I couldn't wait for it to be over. So now it's finally over. Both Priest and Black can both finally move on from each other and do bigger and better things apart from each other. So that's a good thing to see. And I may have a theory for Aleister Black for WrestleMania. What I think Aleister Black, just a brainstorming a possible WrestleMania match for Aleister Black. So I think we'll get to that in a little bit. But we then have also Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre bumping into each other backstage. We then had Alexa Bliss and Julia for the women's U.S. title. Julia retains. I didn't really care much for this. Julia retains, okay. This was okay. I wasn't really much into this. Rightfully, Julia won because she just won the title last week from Chelsea Green. But after the match, Nia Jax and Lash Legend attack Alexa Bliss, and Nia Jax lays Alexa Bliss out with the Annihilator, which is an awful move from Nia Jax. The less I talk about this shit, the better. With Charlotte and Alexa against Nia and Lash. The less I talk about this, the better. So we're going to move on from that portion of the show. Like I said, Jordan Grace signed with SmackDown, beats Alba Fire in a quick match. We had Kit Wilson appear backstage and ask Nick Aldis for another opportunity and said something about toxic. And Kit Wilson is complaining to Nick Aldis about everything being so toxic. And then we had Matt Cardona backstage putting his name in the hat for a possible WWE title contender, putting his name in the hunt to chase after the WWE title. Matt Cardona put his name in the hat for the WWE Championship. So that's nice. And I like the fact that what they're doing now on SmackDown, like the WWE, like Matt Cardona, Damian Priest have put their name in the hat for the WWE title, Randy Orton as well. Trick Williams is another guy that's put his name in the hat for the WWE Championship. It makes the WWE Championship feel the most important and prestigious title on SmackDown, and that's a great, beautiful thing to see. And there's a lot more threats to the WWE title now. with them, those names putting their names in the hat. Then Cody Rhodes was champion. Now Drew McIntyre is WWE champion. And a lot of possible threats to that WWE title now. It makes the WWE Championship mean a lot more and makes the title and makes the WWE title feel like a much bigger deal, and it makes it feel a lot more prestigious, like the most important thing, not just in the company, but on the SmackDown as well. I love that. I really love that. That little attention to detail I wanted to bring up as well. So I'm not sure if you guys caught that, but I definitely have. It was last week they did it, and then this week they continue to. So I like that. Makes the WWE title feel very important and makes it look prestigious and a big deal. I like that a lot. So we get, like I said, Cardona backstage putting his name in the hat for the WWE Championship for a possible number one contender to wrestle for the WWE Championship in the future. We get the White Six and the MFTs. I didn't really care for this. Like Nia Jax, Lash Legend, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. The less I talk about this with the MFTs and the White Six, the better. I hope to God, just like Aleister Black and Damian Priest and their feud's over, I hope this feud is over with the MFTs and the White Six as well. I'm sorry. The White Six, they just don't do anything for me. The spooky characters in 2026 just don't do much for me. I don't know what they do with the White Six here. They're the tag champions. You wouldn't know it. But they got to get those tag titles off of the White Six. They're a good group, but not as tag team champions. And the MFTs, man, don't even get me fucking started. The MFTs fucking blow. They fucking blow. They do. Tala Tonga is fucking useless. Hikuleo is fucking useless. He does nothing for me. He's just tall and big and a one-trick pony that will go nowhere in wrestling. Tongaloa, please. Another guy that's fucking useless, does nothing for me too. Tama Tonga, yeah, the guy that just does yeah. I want you off my fucking television if that's all you're gonna do, Mr. Tama Tonga. Seriously. Jeff Cobb is better on his own. Solo Sikoa is better on his own. The Bloodline thing is dead. The whole Bloodline story is dead. Why do we have it now with the MFTs? It's just the Temu version of the Bloodline. Just end the fucking thing already. Seriously, I'm over it. And I'm over this MFT and White Six feud. I hope that's the end of that feud now. Seriously. I don't want to see it anymore. I don't care to see it anymore. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way. So, and again, like the less I talk about this, the better. I don't care for this at all. Please move these two groups on from each other. I don't want to see MFTs versus the White Six or any formation of the MFTs versus White Six anymore. Move the fuck on from this feud. Please. I'm tired of it. I'm genuinely tired of this fucking feud. Move the MFTs onto somebody else. Move the White Six onto somebody else. And get the fucking tag titles off the White Six too. They have done fuck all with those titles. They've done nothing with them. Get the titles off of them as well. That's another thing that I think they need to do as well to fix SmackDown. And then we get Ilya Dragon. Sorry, guys. After I ranted and raved and bitched and moaned about the MFTs versus Wyatt 6, made me cough. But not enough to keep me down. Then we get Ilya Dragunov backstage with Carmelo Hayes and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Says that Dragunov is looking to talk to Nick Aldis about bigger things, pretty much. The Miz and Carmelo Hayes didn't bump into each other and stuff like that. Okay. Don't really care for the Miz. Why is he on my TV still in 2026? I have no idea. He lost, and Adam Carl, he's watching. He can attest to this. A little nice statistic here. The Miz lost all of his matches in 2025. He lost 90% at least of his matches all year last year in 2025. Miz won no matches last year in 2025. And yet, why is The Miz on TV in 2026? Why? Why are we giving TV time to the fucking Miz? We can give, we can't get SmackDown TV time for Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma, Tommaso Ciampa, Motor City Machine Guns. Where the fuck are they? They haven't been seen since November of last year. Where are Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin? Where are they? We don't have time for Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, and Tommaso Ciampa and Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. We don't have time for Santos Escobar, but no, we have time for The Miz, right? Right? Awful. Awful, awful, awful. Please get The Miz off my TV. Pretty please. And like I mentioned moments ago, Alba Fire jobs to Jordan Grace. Squash match. Then Byron Saxton is backstage with Sami Zayn. What Sami Zayn is saying that, I've never been the world champion before, but you know what? I will be the WWE champion. And my goal is to be the WWE champion, and I am going to win the big one. I am going to win the WWE championship. That Sami Zayn tells Byron Saxton. Now, before we talk about what Sami Zayn, the WWE title picture situation, and all this other stuff, do I think Sami Zayn is going to be the world champion in WWE? Absolutely, yes. Do I think this year? No. I don't think he wins the Rumble. I mean, if he does, get no complaint from me. I don't think he wins the world title this year either. I would say Sami Zayn wins the Rumble in 2027 and wins the WWE title and Saudi at WrestleMania 43 next year. And that's when Sami Zayn finally wins the big one, wins the WWE championship. That's what I think. That's what I genuinely think. That's what I genuinely think. Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, this is what I'm thinking. Now, we'll get to the WWE title situation with the Rumble in a sec. But they announced for SmackDown next week, and SmackDown next week is going to be in London, England. 4 matches they announced for SmackDown next week, by the way. It's Randy Orton and The Miz, 1-on-1. Damian Priest, Solo Sikoa, 1-on-1. Trick Williams and Matt Cardona, 1-on-1. And Sami Zayn versus Ilya Dragunov, 1-on-1. Those 4 single matches are going to be taking place on SmackDown next week in London, England. And the winners of those 4 singles matches will go on to meet in a fatal 4-way on January 24th, Saturday night's main event, the week before the Rumble. And that Saturday night's main event, January 24th, is going to be in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Guess who's from Montreal, Quebec, Canada? Sami Zayn. I think Sami beats... Now, with those 4 singles matches next week on SmackDown in London, Sami and Dragunov, Orton, Miz, Trick, and Cardona, and Sikoa and Priest. Those 4 singles matches next week are WWE title #1 contender matches, with the winners of those 4 singles matches meet in a fatal 4-way on Saturday night's main event in Montreal, January 24th. And the winner of that match on Saturday night's main event in that fatal 4-way then goes on the challenge for the WWE Championship in Saudi Arabia at the Royal Rumble. I think Sami beats Dragunov, gets his win back over Dragunov. I think Damian Priest beats Solo Sikoa. We got Randy Orton beating The Miz, no questions asked. Miz is not beating Orton. 0 chance Miz beats Orton, nor should he beat Orton. That's an easy win for Orton. Randy Orton's going to beat The Miz. Damian Priest's going to beat Solo Sikoa. Sami Zayn's going to beat Ilya Dragunov. And then Trick Williams, I think, beats Matt Cardona. Cardona will look good. He'll look very good, no questions asked. But Trick Williams just got called up. I think Trick would need the win more. I think Trick goes over Cardona, and I'm actually looking forward to Trick Williams, Matt Cardona next week. That's going to be a banger match. Same thing with Sami Zayn and Ilya Dragunov. So, if my predictions are correct with SmackDown next week, Trick Williams, Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, and Randy Orton win their 4 singles matches next week. They meet in a fatal 4-way in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Saturday night's main event, January 24th, the week before the Royal Rumble in Saudi. And I think Sami wins the fatal 4-way. And I think we get Sami Zayn wrestling in Saudi, where he's beloved there, at the Royal Rumble, wrestles for the WWE Championship. against Drew McIntyre, who won the title last night in Berlin in 3 stages of hell against Cody Rhodes, where Jacob Fatu returned as well. And I think we get Sammy and Drew for the title in Saudi for the WWE Championship in Saudi Arabia at the Royal Rumble, which Sammy and Drew have history. And I don't know if this is the correct statistic. If someone wants to correct me, you have my permission. I don't think Sammy's ever beat Drew McIntyre. I don't think Sammy's ever beat Drew. I could be wrong, but I don't think has Sami Zayn ever beaten Drew McIntyre? I don't think he has. Correct me if I'm wrong. If anyone in the chat or in the comments wants to correct me, go right ahead. But I don't think Sammy's ever beaten Drew. So there's a story there, and they have history. And Sammy and Drew have big history there. And Sammy wrestles Drew for the title at the Rumble in Saudi Arabia. Drew McIntyre retains. Sammy goes on this big babyface chase mode to finally win the big one, become the world champ, win the WWE Championship, and stuff like that. And then I think with Aleister Black and Sami Zayn, you could have Sammy down himself after losing to Drew at the Rumble in Saudi. After he loses, Sammy doubts himself. Then Aleister Black, that dark Aleister Black with Selena Vega gets and tries to get in Sami Zayn's head, tries to doubt Sammy even more. That you can't do it, Sammy. You can't do it, Sammy. And then it leads to Sammy and Black at WrestleMania in Las Vegas. That could be something good for Sammy to do with Aleister Black versus Sami Zayn. That could be something. Because I don't think Sammy factors in the world title plans at Mania at all this year. And I would have Sammy go on full babyface chase mode to finally win the big one all throughout 2026. I would do that with Sami Zayn. And then the Rumble, and then the 2027 Royal Rumble, wherever that's held, that's where I have Sami Zayn win the Rumble. I don't think Sami Zayn wins the Rumble in Saudi this year. I'd be shocked if that happens. If it happens, no complaints from this guy whatsoever. But I think Sami Zayn wins the Rumble next year in January 2027 when 2027 comes. I think Sami Zayn wins the 2027 Men's Royal Rumble, wherever that Rumble's held. And then WrestleMania 43 in Saudi next year. That's when I think Sami Zayn finally wins the big one, becomes the world champ at WrestleMania 43 in Saudi next year, where in Saudi, Sammy's very beloved there. So that's my big take. I know I may be thinking ahead way too much ahead of the game here, but just my overall thoughts on all that regarding Sami Zayn finally becoming a world champion in WWE. Just my overall thoughts. Let me know what you guys think, but I think that would be great storytelling. Big time. With Sami Zayn, if that's the case. And Drew McIntyre just won the title, by the way. So I think Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn for the WWE Championship. I think that's one of the matches for the Royal Rumble in Saudi, and that's a nice match for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble, in my opinion. So I don't mind that whatsoever. And they have history, and the match will be very good. You want a good first opponent for Drew McIntyre now as a WWE champion. Look no further than Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn at the Royal Rumble. So I think that's probably what they're doing. And Saturday night's main event, the week before the Rumble is in Montreal. Sammy's from Montreal. It just makes sense for Sami Zayn to qualify to wrestle for the WWE title at the Rumble. It just makes all the sense in the world. So I think that's WWE's plan regarding the WWE title implications for the Royal Rumble. I can't see it being Randy Orton. Drew and Orton doesn't. It's a big match for the Rumble, for the WWE Championship, but does Drew versus Orton really interest you? It doesn't really with me. Trick Williams, he just got called up. It's way too soon. Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, we've been there, done that. So I think it goes to Sami Zayn. I think we get Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre one-on-one for the WWE title at the Rumble in Saudi. I think that's the direction for the WWE title at the Rumble that WWE is going to go with. I think that's their direction. I could be wrong, but I think that's the route they're going to take for scoring the WWE Championship, as far as that's concerned, for the end of the month in Saudi at the Rumble, at the Royal Rumble. So then we got throughout rest of SmackDown, we got Johnny Gargano dressing up like Axiom backstage, attacking Nathan Frazier. And I thought Axiom actually turned on Nathan Frazier. And it was Johnny Gargano dressed as Axiom. And Gargano's such a troll, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think on this, but I mean, love Johnny Gargano. He's such a nice troll, but it's like, I don't know. It's just mixed feelings about it. We then get the U.S. title open challenge with Carmelo Hayes defending the U.S. title, and Shinsuke Nakamura opens the challenge. This was not a bad match. This was decent. And Carmelo Hayes won with nothing but net and retained. And after the match, Hayes and Nakamura shook hands as a sign of respect. So this was nice for what it was. The U.S. title open challenge is kind of lazy when it's like you do it often. But I think this leads to Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams at WrestleMania for the United States Championship. Trick Williams wins a U.S. title, and he ends the U.S. title open challenge because I think the U.S. title, like these open challenges, are really for baby faces. Heels don't do them, and I could absolutely see Trick beating Melo for the U.S. title at WrestleMania and stop the U.S. title open challenges at the time for the time being. And Trick Williams, I think it would get Trick Williams nice heel heat too. So I could see Trick and Melo for the U.S. title at Mania, and Trick wins the U.S. title. I think that's one of the matches for Mania, and I think it'll be the way to go, especially since both Trick and Melo have big history dating back to their NXT days. So I think that's the way to go. I hope they do it. And then we get the main event of last night's SmackDown in Berlin, Germany. 3 stages of hell for the WWE Championship. First fall, regular one-on-one. Second fall, falls count anywhere. And if there was a third fall, which you knew there was going to be, third fall was a steel cage match. Cody Rhodes defended WWE title against Drew McIntyre, 3 stages of hell. Cody came out, he got boos. And this Germany crowd was pro Drew with this match last night on SmackDown in Berlin. We got Drew McIntyre winning the first fall. We got Drew ripping off the top turnbuckle pad. Referee tries to put it back. Behind the referee's back, McIntyre gives Cody a low blow. Drew hits the Claymore, gets the 3 count on Cody. Drew McIntyre wins the first fall. Second fall falls kind of anywhere. Cody wins with a crossroads through the announce table. Cody wins the second fall, falls count anywhere match. Then it leads to a third fall, the steel cage. And this match, man, really, really good stuff. Loved every bit of this, man. Cody and Drew just went out there and and basically, showed you it's just Cody and Drew like going out there and trying to destroy each other. Loved every minute of it, honestly. So we get Cody and Drew, the third fall in the steel cage, where you win by pin, submission, or escape in the cage of both feet touching the ground. We got Cody with the Cody cutter, the crossroads, Drew kicked out, Claymore, Cody kicked out. We have both guys nearing the top of the cage. Stuff like that. We have Cody doing a Cody cutter off the cage, but Drew kicked out. Both men were on the side of the cage trying to bang each other's head on the head first into the side of the cage. Then Drew McIntyre fell crotch with the top ropes. Then so did Cody. Both men were down. Drew hit the ropes, crotch on the ropes. First did Drew, then Cody did. Both men are down. Then Drew McIntyre tries to crawl and escape through the cage door. Then the guy in the mask and the hoodie showed up. The cage door opened and it was revealed to be Jacob Fatu. He was backstage during the show last night, so his return was imminent. He has been seen since late last year when he was taken out backstage with some teeth problems and stuff. He was written off TV for a while, and he's back in the fray in the main event picture seen on SmackDown. He has a story of who took him out late last year backstage, and Jacob Fatu returned. He got a very big pop, and I'm very happy to see him back, and he looks great too, by the way. Shape-wise, he looks fucking awesome. So he came back. He got a very nice reaction. He gets in the cage where Drew is in, and he beats out of Drew, stomps Drew in the corner. Then Cody tries to go to Fatu, try and say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because Jacob Fatu's interfering. There's just no DQs in a steel cage. And then when Cody pokes behind Fatu, then Fatu immediately goes after Cody, this Jacob Fatu. So he's attacking Drew, takes attention off Drew McIntyre. Jacob Fatu goes right on after Cody Rhodes, shoulder thrust on Cody Rhodes in the corner, just beating the hell out of Cody. And while Fatu's busy with Cody, and Fatu forgot all about Drew McIntyre behind Fatu's back like a slimy heel that he is, and the smart heel, Drew McIntyre escapes underneath the bottom rope and escaped the cage door, and both of his feet touched. Drew McIntyre escaped the cage, won the cage by escaping the cage. Drew McIntyre wins the third fall, and your winner and new WWE champion, the Scottish Warrior, Drew McIntyre. And might I say, very, very well deserved. It's about damn time. And Drew has lost so many times to Cody for several months over the title and has lost and lost and lost. This was a much-win situation for Drew McIntyre. Had he lost, he would have been buried. No questions asked. I mean, they had Braun Breaker, CM Punk for the world title this past Monday on Raw in Brooklyn. Last night, SmackDown, Berlin, Germany. 3 stages of hell with Cody and Drew for the WWE title. WWE was not going to have 2 world title changes within the same week. And if it wasn't going to be Braun Breaker crowned, it had to be Drew. And if anyone needed the win more, Breaker or Drew, it was a lot more so Drew. Breaker losing to Punk, Breaker is fine. But if Drew lost to Cody, Drew would have been buried. And you can't do that to Drew McIntyre, one of your top guys in the company. And I really thought that Cody was going to retain. I didn't think they were going to take the risk and pull the trigger and put the belt on Drew. I really thought they were going to play it safe and keep the title on Cody, but they actually did it. They actually fucking did it. I didn't think they would do it, but bro, they actually did the right thing. They actually pulled the damn trigger on Drew McIntyre. Like, they took Triple H throughout 2025, played it safe. Last night was not safe. He took a damn risk last night. Took the WWE Championship off Cody Rhodes, put on Drew McIntyre, and now it shakes things up. Now it's unpredictability now with SmackDown and the WWE, especially with SmackDown. And there's more intrigue now. There's honestly, and Drew McIntyre as WWE champion is 1,000% the right call. Drew had to win, and Drew going over was zero doubt about it, was the right call. And I know some people are upset, oh, why would you do this? And blah, blah, blah. Drew had to win this match. If had Cody won, Drew would have been buried. He would have been buried, and there would have been no coming back from that with Drew McIntyre. It was a win. It was a must-win for Drew. And I'm very happy WWE did the right thing and put the belt on Drew. And Cody is just fine. He loses nothing from this. As far as I'm concerned, Cody Rhodes is bulletproof. Cody Rhodes is bulletproof as far as I'm concerned. Drew had to win this match, and I'm glad Triple H and Ryan Ward actually did the right fucking thing and put the belt on Drew McIntyre. And this was the right call. And now there's a lot more pros than cons with Drew McIntyre as WWE champion than with Cody Rhodes as WWE champion. And Cody lately was getting very, very stale. It was getting very fucking boring. And Cody was a WWE champion first time from WrestleMania 40 to WrestleMania 41, where he dropped it to John Cena. Then he won it back from Cena at SummerSlam at MetLife last August. Like, does Cody really need to be champion from SummerSlam last August all the way till Mania this year? No, it's fucking boring and it's safe. WWE played it safe in 2025. This year, they need to stop doing that. They need to start doing right things and taking risks this year. Drew McIntyre winning the title last night in 3 Stages of Hell was not safe. It was a risk, and a good right risk at that. And this is, no questions asked, the right call. Now the possibilities are endless. Now with Drew as champion. Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. I would not even do Cody and Drew for Cody's rematch if Cody has a rematch clause. I wouldn't even do that before the Rumble. Does Cody even have a rematch clause? I don't know. I know there were rumors of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Do we even need that? And it's for a title? No. But do we need that in general? No. I don't think we need that at all. I know dirt sheets are saying it, but I don't really believe the dirt sheets. But dirt sheets know nothing about WrestleMania. The only ones that do know are Triple H and Nick Khan and nobody else. So that's my take on that. But Drew winning was 100% the right decision. And there's a lot more you can do, and a lot more to do, and a lot more excitement and unpredictability and intrigue. A lot more so with Drew McIntyre as champion than with Cody as champion. For all we know, Cody Rhodes might even enter the Royal Rumble. Can you look at a Rumble with Cody, Roman, you got Braun Breaker, Jacob Fatu, Oba Femi, Matt Cardona, Trick Williams, Chris Jericho, LA Knight. Like, that's a super stacked, star-studded Royal Rumble, if you ask me. Seriously. And I was originally thinking, now betting odds, if you want to believe them, Roman Reigns winning the Rumble, now Braun Breaker winning the Rumble. Nobody else is winning the Rumble except Triple H and Nick Khan. Point blank. And my original pick for the Royal Rumble, winning the Men's Royal Rumble this year, was Braun Breaker. That may not happen now. For all we know, Jacob Fatu might win the Royal Rumble. And maybe we get Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. I think we do, but maybe it's for the WWE title. You know, shake up the system a little bit. We don't need the safe, like, boring option. Just rattle the system a little bit. Make things fuck things up a little bit. Make it exciting. You know, where there's twists and turns of what route they could go, and it makes for exciting television and some nice story. I think this is no doubt about it, the right call. Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship, and it had to be done. And I read reports early after Drew won the title that Cody and Drew pushed and pitched for Drew to win the title last night in Berlin. And apparently WWE last night in Berlin thought it was finally time last night to pull the trigger on Drew winning the title. So I'm glad they did that. But do I think Drew is a transitional champion? Unfortunately, yes. But then again, I don't know. I hope that's not the case. I do think he's a transitional champion. But even if Drew's a transitional champion, at least he has a title reign. And I'm very happy he's champion right now. I'm very happy he's getting a title reign. And finally winning the WWE title in front of a full capacity of live roaring fans. And a long time first full circle moment coming for Drew McIntyre. When he won his first WWE title during the pandemic in front of no fans at WrestleMania 36, then around when COVID just started, the COVID-19 pandemic. Now 6 years later, he finally wins the WWE title for longer than 5 minutes in front of full, actual live roaring fans. And around his home country, and I know he's from Scotland, but it was in Berlin, but around the UK, nonetheless. But I'm very happy for Drew McIntyre, and congratulations to Drew McIntyre becoming a brand new WWE champion, and well deserved for the Scottish Warrior. I could not be more happier for Mr. Drew McIntyre, and he deserves it. And again, the right call, 100% right outcome. Now you can do a lot more. Now we don't know what's happening regarding the WWE title or whatnot now at WrestleMania. Maybe it's Drew and Fatu, Drew McIntyre, Jacob Fatu. Maybe at WrestleMania. I think it's going to happen in WrestleMania regardless, but maybe it's for the WWE title. We don't know now. Maybe Jacob Fatu, for all we know, could win the Royal Rumble, and Braun Breaker could win the Elimination Chamber. Is the WWE title on the line is the WWE title even on the line in the Elimination Chamber next month in Chicago? We don't even know. And it depends on who wins the Royal Rumble. Depends on who wins the Royal Rumble. Jacob Fatu could win. Braun Breaker could win. LA Knight, a wild card like LA Knight could win. Like, now we don't know who wins the Rumble, and it's unpredictable, and there's intrigue, and I think it's exciting. And we haven't felt with the Rumble in years where, you know, for years it's like we could pick one guy predictably winning the Rumble. Now it's a lot more than that now. Now this guy could win, that one could win, this one could win, that one could win. I think it's exciting. Cody Rhodes might win the Rumble, may get Drew again at Mania, or maybe Cody wins Rumble and we get Cody and Punk for the world title at Mania. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Maybe we get Seth winning the Rumble, coming back, winning the Rumble, Breaker winning the Rumble. We get Punk, Breaker, Seth, triple threat for the world title at WrestleMania. Maybe add Roman Reigns in there, make it a fatal four-way since Roman's been battling the division for months. We don't know what really is happening now going into Mania, and I think it's exciting. We can't. There's a lot of unpredictability now with Drew as champion. I think it's very intriguing and exciting, man. I honestly, I think that the possibilities are endless now that Drew McIntyre is champion, and I think it's overall very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to what they do going into the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season now with Drew as champion. Even if it's a transitional reign, I don't know what they do, but hopefully Cody doesn't win it back. He might by WrestleMania. I don't know. We don't even know if Cody's going to get Roman at Mania. We don't even know. And also, Jacob Fatu has that story of who took him out late last year. Also, that story, Jacob Fatu, he got taken out late 2025. Who took out Jacob Fatu? Who did it? Jacob Fatu instantly, automatically thinks it's Drew McIntyre, and Jacob Fatu, by default, thinks it's Drew McIntyre that took him out since Drew's a heel. I don't think Drew McIntyre took Jacob Fatu out. Could be Drew. I don't think it's Drew that took Fatu out. Could be Randy Orton. I don't think it's Orton. Could be the Viper Randy Orton. I don't think it's Orton that took out Fatu. What if it's Cody Rhodes, though, however, that took out Jacob Fatu? And we get Cody Rhodes going heel. Jacob Fatu attacked Cody Rhodes last night on SmackDown in Berlin and pretty much cost Cody the title, and Drew won the title last night in Berlin. But Jacob Fatu did not turn heel at all by any means. Maybe it's Cody Rhodes that took out Jacob Fatu months ago, and Cody turns heel going into Mania, and he reveals he's the one that took out Jacob Fatu months ago. Maybe that's what they do. And I think a heel Cody Rhodes is where the money is. Lately, Cody Rhodes has been very, very stale. And a heel turn for Cody, I think, is what's needed. It would feel like a breath of fresh air, and it would be the best thing for the WWE and also for SmackDown, and make things exciting and fresh for SmackDown, in my opinion. And heel Cody is where the money is. So I think it's Cody Rhodes that probably took out Jacob Fatu several months ago. And maybe we get Drew and Fatu for the WWE title at WrestleMania. Maybe we get Cody and Fatu for the WWE title at WrestleMania. Who the hell knows? I don't know if we get Cody and Roman at Mania. I don't think that's the way to go. According to Dave Meltzer, it's going to be on WrestleMania. I don't think so. And Meltzer really knows nothing. And take it with a grain of salt, anything. And anything that Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez say, take it with a grain of salt. I don't believe Meltzer with that at all. At all. But now Drew McIntyre's champion throws a wrench into plans, and I think it's very exciting and very, very happy for Drew, and 100% the right call, Drew McIntyre winning the title, no questions asked. And I'm excited to what they do now, the WWE title and that whole situation and stuff, going into the Royal Rumble and going into WrestleMania. I'm genuinely excited now that Drew won after Drew won the title last night. Honestly, I'm very excited and intrigued. And it could go either way. Possibilities are endless. But we'll see what they do. Time will tell. But now there's a lot more there's a lot more unpredictability now Drew is champion. And I would have Cody Rhodes in the Royal Rumble. What? I would not do Cody getting the belt back for the Rumble at all. At all. I would have Cody Rhodes, as far as I'm concerned, put Cody Rhodes in the Royal Rumble. Make that Royal Rumble that much better. Cody in the Rumble makes the Rumble that much more prestigious and that much better. That's what I would do. Drew and Sammy for the WWE title at the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes in the Rumble too. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the way to go. But very excited to see what they do in the future regarding the WWE title and all that stuff going into the Rumble and Mania season. So very excited about all that. And congratulations once again to Drew McIntyre. 100% well-deserved. And I could not be more happier for the Scottish Warrior himself, Drew McIntyre. And SmackDown last night, was it better than SmackDown in Buffalo? No. It wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better than this past Monday's Raw. And those are 1,000% facts. And that is a wrap, folks, for episode 7 for the Forbidden Podcast for FioriousNation here on YouTube.com. Leave a like on the video. Hit the bell for all notifications after you subscribe to FioriousNation on YouTube. It would be greatly appreciated. 237 subscribers. Maybe I'm a little more right now. I'm not sure, but go ahead and subscribe to FioriousNation if you're not done so already. Be greatly appreciated. It would help in the YouTube algorithm. So go subscribe to FioriousNation and hit that bell for all notifications whenever I go live here on YouTube, and hit that like as well. Follow me on X, FioriNick579, Instagram, NicholsFiori2014, TikTok, FioriousNation, Facebook, Nichols_Fiori, and then Facebook, Nichols_Fiori, 31. And thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you. Love every single one of you. Starting off the new year right. And I will see you back here next week, January 17th, for episode 8 of Forbidden Podcast. Next week, it'll be me and Adam Carl. So no Adam Carl here, but he'll be on here next week. So should be very excited for next week. Should be very exciting next week. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about next week when the next week hits. So have a good night, all you guys. And Adam Carl and I will see you here next week, Saturday night, 8:30 for January 17th, episode 8 of the Forbidden Podcast. Love every single one of you. Have a good night. I'll see you next week, January the 17th. Peace.